It's MH370. Until you do some research, don't talk to me. I'm going to find the truth while I sip this martini. Your opinion, it means squat to me. It's H370 capes. I wear glasses to see. I'm going to find the truth while I sip this martini. The trolls hate seeing me succeed, but guess what? H370.
Let's go. I might switch the order around, guys, and do the song second and just do the countdown first, so that it doesn't feel like this we got to get down to this like normal point again. That song hypes me up. Everybody who is not familiar with the MH370 song, you just heard it. We will play it again. Also, happy Saturday, guys. We're casual Saturday. We got our MH370 shirt on right now. We're keeping it cash. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Appreciate you. Guys, I'm going to go through and say hi to everybody since we're you guys jumped on early. Appreciate you. Fancy Flint, Doran Rogers, Memory Hole 370. Nice to see you, man. Chip Messiah, Scotty, Chadwell, William Bill, John Hold, Ryan, Joey, Jason Martin. Good to see you. Joe Moss, Scotty, Debrina, GP, Brandon, Billy Brews, nice to see you guys. PJ Mike, glad you guys are in here. Dorian Kootenai, appreciate you. Staycation Jason, always nice to see you and say your name. Paul Shields, Dalton, His Highness, good to see you. Fancy Flit, Possum Friend. Who else did I get? Ramos, Pamela, good to see you. CB, Sham 6, JK Philly fans in the house. Born 100 years too late. Yeah. Actually, maybe 100 years too early. Debrina, good to see you. UFO Nut Chat. Craig Chase. Cat Cans. Cat Cans. Sorry, guys. It's going to be one of those nights. Pierre, Scotty. Who else do we get here? Oh, YPie01, my channel. Good to see you guys here. Delete. Nice to see you as well. Ashton Forbes. Yeah. Okay, guys. Beavis. Thanks everybody else who's in the chat. Appreciate you guys for getting here early. Okay, guys. What did it? Me? I got you. I didn't see you in the chat. I'm not ignoring my ex followers. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, jump over to YouTube if you want though, for the best experience. But X is fine as well. Yo, guys, how's it going tonight? First thing I'm going to do for the early risers, if you want a Discord invite, I'm going to put one of those in the chat. So if you came here, you're watching this in under 24 hours, you might be able to use this to get in if you want. Only rules are no trolling, and be kind to other people in the Discord. Okay, there you go. You have to see the Discord invite from YouTube. It's in the chat right now. Okay, guys. Well, it's been, wow. Things have been going crazy. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about debrief. I hope you guys enjoy your Saturday. I wasn't going to have a drink, but we're just going to do it. So cheers, everybody. Yes, you might notice these are not blue cheese stuffed olives. I ran out of blue cheese. It's very sad. So we've had some major developments. We went on Glenn Beck. First thing I want to say is I apologize that it was not a formal debate. If you've listened to some of the spaces that I've been on since the Glenn Beck interview over the last day, I've talked about it a couple times where I thought it was going to be more adversarial than it was. And we also were really limited, like 40 minutes or something like that. So the reason why I spoke really fast during their interview was that I had very limited time and I had a full list of stuff I wanted to get through. I wanted to hit all the major things that were out there. In fact, I have it behind me right now. We can probably take a look at it together if you want. But I think that I got mostly positive reception. Glenn Beck posted on Instagram that it blew his mind. Because I think that a lot of people come into it thinking, yeah, you can't. Somebody's talking about teleporting a plane, warping a plane. Everyone's initial reaction is that's not possible. But the more you look into it, the more you realize, and you look at the evidence, you go, wow, not only is it possible, that's what we did to MH370. That's what we did to it. And like I said in the very beginning, I was never a conspiracy guy or a UFO guy on any of this stuff. I'm not an experiencer. There was never any major conspiracy that I had before this where I was like, oh, I got to go find the truth for that. I didn't even expect the MH370 situation to be a conspiracy. I had thought and believed all the narratives out there. I was thinking that this plane that we see in this video has to be in the South Indian Ocean. And no, you find out the whole media can lie to us. The government controls the media. It's eye-opening. It's very eye-opening. And then you dig into the science and you realize, holy crap. We're going to go over a paper tonight. We're switching it up a little bit. There's a letter from Thomas Bearden, or not even necessarily from Thomas Bearden, a CIA letter that was declassified in 2001. We got to look at it, guys. It's incredible. So the Glenn Beck stuff was good, though. I think it got a lot of attention, and it brings us to a more mainstream audience where people are going to realize that, this stuff is worthy of consideration, which is what we need. Like, this is a situation where you have to build up to it. Like, you have to deconstruct the lie for people. That's the first thing. Because otherwise, most people go, oh, well, didn't that plane crash somewhere? They found a couple of pieces. And that's the misinformation they want you to believe. The other thing is that this is getting pretty serious, actually. Like, so the people that are like wishing me well and blah, 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 I really do appreciate it because we're backing the intelligence community into a corner on this. There is like nothing they can say to deny this. We've got so much evidence. It's overwhelming. People are waking up to the vast amount of deception that's been going on in the United States from our intelligence community, and that we are potentially the bad guys. Now, the downside of this is that I've heard through the grapevine that like I'm actually like really pissing people off. Like, they might actually try to take me out or silence me somehow. Which, whatever. I've always said I'm not afraid. No big deal. If it happens, you guys take the reins. Happy to be a martyr if that's how they want to play this out. And then there'll be anyone can take my evidence and run with it. Make sure you get the truth for the families of the victims. But this is like the biggest conspiracy ever. And I don't mean that to be, any way have with any sense of hubris, I just mean it literally is. I mean, we're talking free energy is actually real, and they've been lying to us in the science textbooks for 100 years. Now, the good news is the more attention that I get, probably the safer I am, because if they were to come after me, try to silence me in any way, shape, or form, you guys are going to notice. Hell, if I even stop posting, you guys will notice. And yeah, I'm not suicidal. I need to be like 100% clear about that. I had to kind of tell my family as well, just in case, like, because here's the reality, guys. Whether or not you believe this or not, I don't really care, but they've got a million ways to take you out without people drawing suspicion. They could poison your food. They can, take out the brakes on your car. Whatever they think of, they're going to be able to make it look natural. So, cheers, I guess. Cheers to the good ones who aren't killing me, by the way. Appreciate you. Now on another front, on a positive note, yeah, the good news is I didn't take the shot, so you can't make up any bullshit about reaction from some shots that I didn't take. Didn't take the shot. No died suddenly, heart attacks. I'm a pretty healthy guy, not overweight, young, so nothing should happen to me. But on what was I going to say? Crap. Yeah, and the good news, like, we are making a lot of waves and we're getting the information out there and people are absorbing the information with an open mind, which is awesome. We had Ariel retweet us earlier today. And the thing is, there's a lot of crossover with some of this stuff. It will not surprise me if it turns out that there's some weird sketchiness in ancient Earth with past civilizations or something like that at this point. Yeah. Yeah, everybody will raise hell. Appreciate that, man. And I don't talk about it very much because it's dark and it doesn't matter anyway. But I guess just for the record, like, I wouldn't have any regrets if anything happened. I would do it all again every single time. I'm happy to be a martyr for free energy, if that's what this leads to, which 99% sure that it does. So what do I want to do here today? I want to go over some of the most recent updates with you guys first. Take a look at that. I mean, we've got, the crazy part is, like, guys, there's no such thing as hoax videos that have this much corroborated evidence. That just doesn't exist. This is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity and one-in-a-lifetime case. And we now also found drone video footage that is actually very similar, potentially the exact same cameras that were used. And when you watch it, I mean, it looks just like the way the camera operates in the MH370 video. And the best part is that they can't, the debunkers can't say that somebody looked at that and that's how they chose to make the video, because that video is only released in 2015. So it was released after the drone video, so they couldn't even have used that as a reference. But the way it looks at the plane in the video is exactly the same. So I'm going to show that, show some of the recent updates, and then we're going to look at this scientific paper, and then I'm going to make an announcement near the end here as well. Exciting announcement. Okay, let's take a look. Can I switch this somehow? What if there's a way to, like, make this not suck? Oh yeah, like, look at that. Yeah, okay. That's not bad. So where is it? Let's start with the camera. Who is it that found this in my Discord? Ray Tracer found this, and I edited it up. So this is the MX25, and this is a Westcam drone camera. This is a military grade camera here. There's a website that this is where I pull, or the YouTube channels where I pulled these details from. They have way more as well. I just only pulled the relevant ones. High definition EO and IR, dual channel color, and low light EO wide angle zoom. So this is a fully digital camera, and it has the zoom capabilities that we need in order to recreate the shake that there is there. But even better, it talks about in the YouTube solid state inside technology, 5-axis active stabilization. So this is the reason why there's not more disturbance, is that it's got super advanced stabilization software. That's why we only see a little bit of disturbance. Otherwise, trying to do this camera underneath the wing should be moving around way more. And that's what the debunkers tried to argue. And it turns out they were wrong again. Guys, these videos are 100% real. You have to be in straight up denial at this point to believe these videos aren't real. There's no such thing as like finding the real capabilities that explain every single question people have about the videos. Every single question. There's no one person that would have enough knowledge to put this all together. I already sent the Discord invite, but I'll post it again for you guys who are on the YouTube. So as we just saw there, high definition color, and then look at this plane. This is a real plane, real commercial jet that they're filming on this camera. It's almost the same distance away as well. Actually, does it even say the distance? Yeah, 2,619 feet away. I think that's is this the altitude, or is this how far away it is? And look, this was actually filmed in July of 2014 right here as well in the top left. So this is actually probably exactly the camera that was used to film MH370, or a camera very similar to it. Look at the way it's being manually tracked. So the other thing that the debunkers argued, the debunkers as well argued that because it wasn't automatically tracking the plane, that it couldn't be real. So literally every single thing that debunkers have lied about has been proven to be a lie. They lied about it not being able to do the color. We proved that they have color capability. They lied about the automatically tracking the plane. They lied about the shake as well. So when you're out there, guys, some of these debunkers are straight up disinformation agents, just straight up. Their goal is to push lies out there to cast doubt onto things. But we have absolute proof. We have proof of the satellite video using Google Earth and Quick Terrain Modeler, which is exactly what we need and what we were able to deduce before we knew that was even a thing. The drone capabilities in the wing, underneath the wing, exactly like this. It's an MQ-1C. Like, you have to be in utter, complete, total denial at this point. It's like if I just filmed like a video of me walking around and people were trying to debunk it to say it's not real. Like, that's how silly we're getting to that point now. I mean, look at this thing tracking it. It looks just like when they're trying to manually track the drone video. And these like idiot debunkers are like, oh, it's they added in some kind of like wiggle into the After Effects, which you can't even use After Effects to make the videos, guys. Literally can't find the real software if you're going to do that. But After Effects was not used. Even if these videos were fake, the MH370 videos were fake, you would not be able to use After Effects to make them. It requires a full 3D rendered environment. Get it through your head. Full 3D. We have dynamic parallax clouds. Look at this. Look at this. And this is the kicker. This one is the kicker. Look at how hot the engines are. So you imagine if they were in color, these are going to be red. There's no heat coming out of the bottom of this. You have a slight, tiny little thing here, which kind of goes away. But the heat coming out of this should match like what we see here in the engine. Because when we look at the drone video, you can see very clearly there's way more heat coming out. The heat coming out in the drone video is equivalent to what's coming out of the engines. So now if we go look at the drone video, I'm going to go to the slow-mo one I made. So I made a slow-mo of just the heat signature. Look at how hot that heat signature is. Look at how wide it is compared to the engine as well. This is as hot as the engine is. And it's at probably a higher altitude than the other one we were looking at. You can even see the smoke coming out. Like, you can tell the smoke is coming right here. This is the smoke coming out of the bottom of the engine right there. And it's wrapping around the belly of the plane. That's why you're getting two smoke trails. It's not coming from here. We know because we're looking at a footage of a real plane in the other one that doesn't have the color over it. And there is no like smoke coming out of this. And also we know it's too low for contrails. Like, science says this cannot be contrails. It's not possible. It's too low. Cumulus clouds rule out contrails. So, I mean, just look at that. Look at this, chat. Somebody faked every single one of these frames with accurate heat signatures coming out of the belly of the plane. That video, this Westcam camera here is straight up proof that what we're looking at here is a real video. That's a real video. So here again is just the part with the thermal again to compare. And the reason why it's longer here is because it's lower altitude. This is much lower altitude. The MH370 video is several thousand feet higher, most likely, than this one is. I don't know exact altitude of this plane, but we estimate the MH370 one could be somewhere around 7,000 feet, 5,000 to 7,000. Hard to say. And then here, the heat exhaust ports. The heat vents are right here near the landing gear, right here. And there might be second. I don't think these are the heat exhaust ports, but this one down here is where there's another image I didn't post, but it has the heat exhaust right there. So you can imagine the smoke coming out of these wrapping around the plane on both sides. And then here's like the debris that was found that has clear scorch marks all over it. This is heat damage. The narrative out there is somebody, like, I don't even know who supported it, said that this is resin from the ocean. Resin from the ocean? And it's only on this piece? Are the two pieces that they found like this? No chance, man. This is straight up burn marks. I mean, no one can gaslight me and tell me this is not scorch marks. Look at this. It's fire damage. MH370 had a fire. Yeah, amazing. That was the undercarriage glowing red. And so, guys, some of you who haven't been around this whole time, back in October, you can find my post. This is where we first found out about the fire. This whole thing almost blew up when we found out about the fire scenario. We found out about the glowing orange plane, and then I was staring at my profile. Let me pull it up. My profile pic right here. Let me pull this back up. One night, I was staring at my profile pic after the glowing orange plane, and I'm looking at it, and I'm going, wait. The heat signature right here on the overlay is in the exact spot as the landing gear are at. You're not seeing through the plane to the other side here. The heat signature doesn't even match the engine. This is coming from the heat exhaust ports. And then we looked up and we found the heat exhaust ports are right there. And we went, holy shit, this was a fire. And somebody had already pieced together, if there was a fire on board in the forward cargo bays, the smoke would pump through the air conditioning system. And when it pumps through the air conditioning system, then the smoke is going to come out through that spot right there. I mean, I was like, that's 100% proof. Like 100%, this plane was on fire. Nobody's hoaxing a detail that no one knew about. Now they're speculating. Now they're somehow getting the location of the plane correct. They're somehow getting a completely unsupported like fire scenario that nobody out there has been running with. Like, you're making up a whole new original story for what happened to this plane based on a bunch of lithium-ion batteries that nobody knew were dangerous in 2014. Like, there's just no way. This is clearly what happened to the plane. I don't know. It's crazy. Like, the only reason why we have to struggle with people on it is that they can't believe that we have warp drive technology, which, fair enough. It's hard to believe. It's true, though, apparently. Yeah, and so people ask about the debris. Guys, I've brought up the debris. So if you're new to the case, too, please go look through my history. And not just the history. Like, I've set it up so you can go to the highlights. So if you press highlights and just start scrolling back, you're going to find these are only things related to MH370. So you scroll back through this, and I don't even think you have to go that far to find the debris, honestly. Let's just go back and see how far you have to go to find the debris. Here's where we found out about Quick Train Modeler, Cloud Rebunk. So if you have questions about whether or not, like, the debunks that are out there, you can find all this stuff. Here it is right here. So if you have a question about the debris, you only had to go back like 2 weeks. And you can find debris barnacle analysis. So people are aware that few pieces of debris from MH370 washed up in Africa. What people don't realize is the massive inconsistencies. The only scenario that's consistent with the debris washing up in Africa is the one I'm telling you right now. Nobody else's story matches the debris there. Not the pilot suicide, not the crash in the South Indian Ocean. They basically just fabricated a fake model to convince themselves that the flaperon could wash up in the Reunion Island. And the problem is the flaperon doesn't have barnacles on the area where they say the flaperon, when they tested it, the flaperon was sticking out of the water. There was no barnacles, or there was barnacles, I mean, up on the spot where there shouldn't be any barnacles. And the barnacles don't have enough growth on them. They only have 4 months of growth on them, and they supposedly were in the water for 16 months. And 4 months is not a long enough time for that flaperon to have washed up in the Reunion Island. The rest of the debris literally couldn't have washed up in like South Africa, 3,000 miles away. It's actually just impossible. And it's funny that no one realizes that that's just impossible. So it's funny because the people that argue about the debris don't realize that the debris contraindicates a crash in the South Indian Ocean. That's why people don't bring up the debris that often. The experts, they don't bring up the debris because they have no explanation for it. That's why I was wondering before, why did they not confirm more pieces of the debris to the plane? Because the one piece actually wasn't connected, the flaperon, they didn't connect it with a unique serial number either. I mean, I think it's from MH370. But they did not use a unique serial number with that. They used a part number. The unique serial plate was actually missing. None of them have been matched with any unique serial numbers. That's actually just fake news, basically. Crazy, huh? Does this just not wake people up in terms of like how much you've been lied to? What I'm telling you right now are absolute facts. Facts, not just opinions. Like literally, look at it. This is the Rolls-Royce engine cowling. This is from the engine. And it's clearly from a 777. It's got the giant RR on it, Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce never released their information publicly. This showed up in South Africa 3,000 miles away. Look at the shape of this. This could never float 3,000 miles in like 16 months or however long it was. Actually impossible. In fact, if you look at the ocean currents, I don't have the ocean currents listed on here. The ocean currents actually go east. The ocean currents go east down where this plane supposedly crashed. This engine cowling is one of the pieces that they say is highly likely right here. 2016 on Mossel Bay, South Africa. Actually couldn't have washed up there. Should have washed up in Australia. 0 pieces wash up in Australia. So if you want to know the truth, the debris is only consistent with the theory of a fire and somehow this plane getting over to the Maldives, which we've explained as a warp drive event. So please, if you're new to the case, look through my highlights and you will find a ton of information that's consistent with the science, the videos, all your main questions. Are the videos debunked? No, they're not debunked, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And just to add more credence to it, there's a debunker in the chat right now, in the X chat, who spent like 20 hours trying to recreate these videos while she's been live streaming it because I challenged people to live stream it. And they can't even come close. Can't even come close. And she's already spent, I think, like 20 hours or so on it and live streamed it. And you can watch a record of it. So people that are out there that think like you can make these videos in like 5 minutes or whatever, 0% chance. And this is somebody who actually is literally just comparing to the real video and trying to match it. And the person who made the videos to begin with would have had nothing to compare to. It'd be completely original. Have to come up with a storyboard. I mean, they have to invent the fire story and be like, oh, there's lithium-ion batteries, must start a fire. I'm going to build a fire into my fake hoax videos. You know, the thing is, like, if you believe the videos are fake, this is what I want to tell you. What is the story? What is the full comprehensive story for these videos that is consistent with all the evidence that we've put forth? We've got a 17-page evidence list now. You need to tell me what story it is that makes all of this evidence make sense. Because the debunkers think that they can just try to puncture one hole in your story and that debunks it, but that's not how logic and reason work. So here is the full evidence list. You need to explain, and you can ignore the parts like the videos. If you think the videos are fake, then you got to explain all the rest. A lot of this evidence has nothing to do with the videos. I don't even need the videos to prove the lie. So if you can explain all this evidence, like especially just start, like if you're a debunker, the way you need to start is right here at the, where is it? What the requirements to hoax the videos? Where is that? Right near the top? Here it is. Fake video requirements. Just start here, work your way down the list, build a comprehensive story that you can tell somebody else, and then you can tell it to me and I will listen to it. Tell me who the person is who didn't want $150,000, who couldn't bring forward the proof, who somehow produced these within 4 to 72 days that must be regicided on. Otherwise, you only have 4 days where there's no reference, with full 3D volumetric clouds, how the clouds look at low altitudes. So they're a meteorologist. They're a military person that knows how military software works. They know what the MQ-1C looks like back in 2014. They're better VFX skills than Top Gun Maverick in terms of an engineering perspective of the planes, scaling it down. They have better skills than the lead VFX expert at Marvel Studios, Jeffrey Ford. Better understanding of physics than most PhDs do. They need to understand scalar physics because the physics on display isn't even actually mainstream. It's like suppressed physics that's out there, but that isn't considered mainstream, but checks out. And then they have to know that this is a 3D rendered environment. We got two different perspectives. And they somehow, after all that, have to know the coordinates of the plane, have to know that we'll never find a plane in 10 years. So, you know what? Go do all that, debunkers, and then I'll begin to take you seriously again. In the meantime, everybody else is going to come with us to the future, and we are going to reveal free energy to the world. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. Yeah, just the debunkers are literally Redditors, like literally Redditors. Like, here's the thing, guys. Hey, Jake Chansley in the chat, brother. Jake, we are gonna change the world, Jake. We literally are. Like, either we're gonna disappear, or we're gonna change the world. And if I disappear, I want Jake to pick up the reins. Jake and I have been promoting Salvatore Paez's patents, and those patents are gonna probably go down in history. It's gonna be one of those things where like 50. So they're going to be like, this dude was a genius. Like, he was Einstein. That's how they're going to look at those patents. Because, you know, there's some of the first patents out there that talk about this technology. You know, and this technology is going to change everything, brother. Change everything. Free energy, man. And Jake and I did a bunch of streams or spaces early. We talked about the patents and everything. You know, they're awesome. So, oh crap, I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh yeah, so the debunkers, guys. So I'm gonna bring up politics for a second here, guys. So you guys have been following all these protests going on on college campuses in the United States, and if you watch any of them, you'll notice that everybody's wearing a mask. They're all like, basically, they're all giant losers, right? They have nothing going on. They have nothing else better to do. They don't even know what they're probably protesting for the most part. They just want a reason to go be annoying. That is like the Redditor debunkers. Like, that is them. There's like a Venn diagram. It's a perfect circle, you know? So like, these debunkers have nothing going on in their lives. You know, they just want to feel smug and superior to other people. Like, they're doing something to help. They need a purpose in life. And it's sad because if they would get on our bandwagon, they could help solve the mystery, help reveal free energy to the world. So yeah, it's rough. But that's why I like people like Jake who are out there, you know, and you don't have to agree with everything. Like, you don't have to agree with our politics, anyone else's politics or anything like that. Like, a lot of this should just be a matter of us agreeing together that we all want to help make the world a better place. Like, if you support green energy, you should want the United States government to give an opinion on these videos, because it's very, very likely that they are hiding free green energy from the planet right now, and that we could be living in basically a utopia, exactly what all the bleeding hearts want. We could have that. We don't need to fight about how many times I turn the light switch off or on. In fact, I'm going to turn it off right now. Oh, too dark, huh? One sec. There we go. Okay. Yeah, we don't need to be fighting about all this stuff. We can just be on the same side, you know? So, okay. Now, the other thing, too, is that this is getting a lot of attention. The case is getting a lot of attention, faster than I thought. You guys can tell as well, this is never going away. There's just something authentic about it that resonates with people. And that's because it's real. So this is why, like, you're seeing it get bigger and bigger and bigger. I honestly expected after I retired that I would get at least 6 months before people would start to bring it back up and it would start to get big again. But I've gotten a lot of requests, and ideally I want to go on bigger platforms at this point because we've just reached that point. But of course, I'm also going to prioritize the people that I've already been on with. A lot of people want to do follow-ups about the case and the more recent evidence that's out there. So I am probably going to do those to accommodate them. I want everyone to be clear, though, that I have made zero money from the podcasts I've gone on. I don't know if people even charge for that, but I have never charged anybody for any of my appearances, because this has always just been about getting the truth out there related to this. You know, at some point in the future, I probably will end up making money from this. I hope. I mean, if it's true, because I need to live. But that's not the goal. And until we get that answer from the government, we'll see. Now, the other big update as well, if I go back to the Twitters, is that there's a new search. New search, guys. And a lot of my conspiracy-minded followers are like, oh, they've got this new search going on. They're, you know, they're going to go plant debris in the ocean. Technically, it's possible. Yeah, and this is why I love Jake. Like Jake also, he doesn't make money on his podcast that he does out there either. Because real people, they don't want money. They just want the truth to get out. The truth is far more valuable than money is. Integrity, exactly. So I think that's how you can tell, you know, whether or not anyone agrees with me or Jake or other people that are out there. You should realize that we're not liars. At least I think that's the most important part. You can disagree. You don't want to believe warp drive's real, that we have free energy. Great. But realize I'm not lying. You know, I'm telling the truth as I see it, which is based in this case on a shit ton of evidence. Now, a lot of people in here said, well, can they warp the plane down into the bottom of the ocean? I'm going to go ahead and say probably not. No. So the debunkers probably think that I'm going to say blah, blah, blah. Oh, even if they find the plane, it doesn't mean anything. No, it would mean a lot. If they find an intact plane full of skeletons down there with a black box, and the black box is like, this plane went down in the South Indian Ocean, then I'm definitely going to say that that's what happened. Because that's a lot of evidence. It's a lot of evidence. Now, does it completely rule out everything? Just to be honest, probably not. But it would absolutely make me highly reevaluate the story that I put forth. Because I'm somebody who's just been following the evidence that's out there. Now, of course, I will scrutinize that very heavily. I want to know where they searched. Did they search there before? How did they not miss it, etc.? The truth is, they're not going to find shit. They're not going to find anything. The best case scenario would be they try for them is that they find like some piece, some significant piece that they can try to say is from MH370 and be like, well, we just missed the rest, but we found this one piece that's got this serial number on it. And it's got to be from MH370. That's what they could pull off. But that would not be enough because the story out there is like, why did we not find a debris field? And if you listen to Larry Vance on Ross Coulhart's reality check show, whatever it's called, he says, well, I know what happened. I know that the pilot did a perfect landing in the ocean and the plane didn't rip apart. And then it just sank perfectly down into the water and that nothing floated. And that's how we found nothing. So if that's the case, then we need to find a full plane down there somewhere. Maybe it's broken in half, but even if it was broken in half, then all the stuff should have gone floating into the surface. All the seats, the luggage, the bodies should have been a giant debris field. So the truth is they're not going to find shit. They're going to find nothing down there in the bottom of the ocean. And when they find nothing down in the bottom of the ocean, I want people to start to realize these videos are what happened to the plane, man. This is what happened. It's hard to believe, but it's true. Okay. And then the last thing I want to reiterate is I posted this thing about quantum teleportation. So I need to clarify a few concepts for people, especially for the people. If you're not big into the science, I want to run through some of the concepts with you. Okay. So quantum teleportation is not the same as warp drive. Not at all. But the implications are the same. So the quantum physics and general relativity, when we combine them, we are opening up our entire Pandora's box full of information. And we're saying, okay, Pandora's box is open up. We get everything that comes along with it. One of those things that comes along with it is faster than light communication. So faster than light communication here is essentially what quantum teleportation is. When you read this article that I linked down here, and there's a scientific paper that goes along with it, I decided not to link the scientific paper because they go over people's heads. This is basically saying that we can actually produce faster than light communication. That we can send information and it's not going to decohere. So when I say decoherence is you need these states, these quantum states to be in coherence so that you can basically say, okay, if I spin this one over here, it automatically spins this one and we can glean information from that entanglement. But what happens is if somebody looks at it, just like in the double slit experiment, you try to measure it, you try to observe it, it breaks down. What these people did is they found out a way to make it so that it doesn't break down so that we can actually use this like a telephone and call somebody and have faster than light communication. How crazy is that? We are on the verge of faster than light communication gets me excited, guys. Faster than light, real faster than light communication. It's coming. Now, I'm just going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say the military already has had it, probably for decades. Professor Simon Howell, he and I actually did a video and we talked a little bit about that because I found his video from several months ago where he was told by his sources that we already have it and we've been like getting signals and sending signals. So that's pretty wild. And then, so that's one thing though. Okay. And then you also have EM drive. So EM drive is this microwave drive that uses like a cylinder. It basically abuses the Casimir effect. And the Casimir effect is like if I put two plates next to each other like this, well, what I've done is I made it so the quantum wavelengths for anything that's shorter than or longer than this can't fit in there anymore. So if your wavelength can't fit in this space anymore, what happens is a pressure, and the pressure causes it to close. You use that same effect in a cone, and that cone can be used to produce thrust. Just from what they would say from the virtual particles and the quantum, fluctuations. That's what conventional physics would say. The ether would say that we don't need that anymore because we can just simply manipulate the Casimir effect, which is the pressure between our reality and the ether, and that we can utilize that to create an engine. And that engine is Star Trek impulse drive. So we have faster than light communication, we have impulse drive, and yes, EM drive is going to be real as well because it all comes along with the idea of the ether. And then the last one is wormholes, warp drive. So these are three separate concepts that are all very closely related, but I want people to understand the difference. Faster than light communication is simply entangling qubits of information, being able to read it from another side faster than the speed of light. This is also quantum tunneling is another concept here. And again, quantum tunneling, what does that mean? Well, it means that this information over here is teleporting over here, but it's skipping this area in between. How can it skip that area in between? Wormhole, quantum entanglement. So ER equals EPR is the overall physics science that explains how all three of these concepts are possible. With the warp drive, we're creating a warp bubble, Alcubierre drive, literally Alcubierre drive, a warp bubble. This allows for mass reduction because once our object is completely encased in a bubble, now it just floats away. Now it has zero mass. And now we can just push it along. And imagine that you're pushing it along through the extra dimension. But from our perspective, visually, it's just going to look like it instantly appears somewhere else. It was over here. Now it's over here. So again, you can imagine that like a rubber band analogy, that we're just, boom, slingshotting that bad boy somewhere else. Now, what we found recently, which I thought was incredible, and I couldn't believe I didn't figure it out before. We're going to go ahead and show off, is this chaotic goods thing here. Just came across chaotic good. Here's your fourth orb. This is your fourth orb theory. Now, she has it backwards here, but that's fine. We'll give her a pass on this. So if you're looking at the plane here, and the orbs are spinning as you're looking at the plane in a clockwise rotation, now use the right-hand rule. The right-hand rule would say if you have your curling vector here, which is your orb spinning around, and then you have your electric force going downward using the right hand, then the direction of travel is going to be your thumb here, straight forward. So in this case, and actually I have it backwards. So in this case, it's not going to be straight forward. It's going to be going backwards. So the vector here should actually be going backwards, getting pulled backwards based on the orientation of the orb's spin. And this is consistent, again, with the right-hand rule. They're converging because of Coulomb's law. So if these videos were fake, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't be discovering laws of physics based on them. Just throwing that out there, guys. Throwing them out. And they definitely wouldn't be consistent with existing laws of physics as well. So this is your example of what they're doing with that. And that was a big discovery the other day. I don't remember if we talked about this before the Glenn Beck thing, but I want to pull it up again just to show you guys. It should have been in my highlights. Yeah, also my interview with Ian Carroll should be dropping pretty soon as well. I think next week. We had an awesome conversation. Probably be a lot of here it is. Okay, so the orbs, guys, look at how perfect this is. The tracking of the orbs. Do you guys think if these videos were fake that you would have like these very realistic, like this is the orbs coming onto the plane, getting into orientation, and then right away you can tell they begin this resonance pattern here. They begin this perfect sine wave resonance. Look at this. You kidding me? Yeah, Ian's awesome, dude. Ian's legitimately, no homo, the best investigative journalist on the planet right now. I looked at some of his stuff. We talked beforehand a little bit. Like, dude is on point. I've got to take some notes from him. We might start building like little like models in that Obsidian software where we have like all of the pictures of physicists and stuff like that. There was a part where he had all the Lockheed Martin. Like, you're going to see this, but Ian had all the Lockheed Martin guys, all the boards of directors around the Lockheed Martin logo in the middle, like it's like a big like web. And there was General Joseph F. Dunford. And I looked at it and I went, dude, we're gonna have to say we won't kill ourselves because we're starting to like play around with the big boys now. General Joseph F. Dunford was there. So during the interview with him, I talk about the story Joseph F. Dunford, and he looks at it and he's like, dude, he's like on this specific subcommittee in the Lockheed Martin board of directors related to like Intel or, you know, advanced science or whatever it is with like some other generals. And I'm just like, do you know he was like the top ranked general right after this? And so yeah, the Ian Carroll interview, guys, is going to be juicy. I've gone on Higher Side Chats. Higher Side Chats is the only person who like wanted to know about all of my post history and like the age of my accounts and all this stuff, which fair enough. Like it's fair to question whether or not I'm myself like a government agent. I am not. I can tell you that much. And that's the beauty of this. Like, this is why the intelligence community is flipping out. I'm just a normal guy that was like not even into conspiracies before this, that never would have touched any of this. And I find the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, no. And just, I'm like, I'm going to dig into this. And that's how you get to where we are at now. And so imagine the intelligence community. Like, is this guy a spy? Like, the United States intelligence community is trying to figure out if I'm like a Russian spy or a Chinese spy. And they look me up and they're like, wait, no. We just gave him a security clearance related to his IT job, and we did a whole full thorough background check on him, and there's nothing. He's got nothing. Like, this random guy just starts figuring all this out, figures all the videos out. You know, like they got to be losing their fucking minds. I love to think about it because it's hilarious. So I don't mind that people think that, but no, I'm no spy, and no spy would be implicating their own country either, the way I am, and exposing them. Am I British? How dare you, sir? How dare you, T-44? Never would I be British. A limey? No, absolutely not. And General Flynn follows me. That's awesome. I love that General Flynn follows me. And the reason why the General Flynn following me thing is so crazy is that all the papers we've been looking at are Defense Intelligence Agency papers. He was the director of the Defense Intelligence Agency. Like, I want to ask General Flynn, why did these papers get created? Are these real? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll probably take a look at one later tonight. But the 3 papers, I think I wrote them down in my interview with Glenn Beck. So, also, dude, Jake, yo, we got to start talking about, we might have to do a space, dude. Yeah, we might have to do a space on the DIA papers, Jake. That might be the next one we do. That might break the internet. I think we should do a space on the DIA papers there, and maybe even the teleportation physics study. Teleportation physics study, the anti-gravity research for propulsion mechanisms. The other 2 I have written down here somewhere. Oh, here they are. Warp drive, dark energy, and the manipulation of extra dimensions. Wow. And then traversable wormholes, stargates, and negative energy. Like, why do you guys think all these papers exist, bros? Why do you think these papers exist? Warp drive, dark energy, manipulation of extra dimensions. Traversable wormholes, stargates, and negative energy. Those are both DIA papers from 2010. What's wild, bro? Hey, Crypto, nice to see you, man. Yeah, because it's real. Like, this is the thing that people don't want to realize. Like, people are like trying to come up with these elaborate reasons for why these papers exist and like are disinformation or something. No, they're just real. In fact, these are plausible deniability for the government. I'll pull one up right now for you guys so that we don't have to act like you don't know what we're talking about here. Here's one of them. This is the one we were going to go over today. This one. So this is the one we were going to go over today. Anti-gravity for aerospace applications. And so supposedly Eric Davis at least helped write some of these. It would not surprise me if Hal Puthoff had input. I can just kind of, some of the topics they talk about when they talk about like quantum vacuum, 0-point energy, 0-point fluctuations, dark energy. So guys, I think have solved dark energy. Dark energy isn't even really a thing. Dark energy is just the interaction between the ether and our reality. That's it. That explains all of it. It gives us the literal negative energy we need in order for the Big Bang to be possible. I mean, dude, when I first looked at these papers before understanding any of this, it just seemed like mumbo jumbo. But you look at it after you understand it, you're like, this is literally plausible deniability, so that when warp drive comes out and people are losing their minds about it, going, why did we keep this secret? The government's go, we didn't keep it secret. We put these papers out in 2010. Why did you not think we had warp drive capability? And the whole world's going to be like, oh, okay, that's fine then. Oh, they have warp drive capability, but it's okay that they lied to us about free energy being possible. Oh, okay. God, man. The papers are just real, chat. Yeah, USS Forbes. That's honestly a great honor. If there's a USS Forbes in the future, that would actually be the best way to honor my my contributions. So the orbs are 3-phase 0.120 degree pattern. Is that also a coincidence? Is that also a coincidence? There's no way that it's a perfect sine wave pattern, just like a 3-phase electrical engineering pattern the orbs are. And then I went back and looked at the old Reddit posts, and I found this guy. This is 9 months ago. Back then, I actually thought it was still annihilation. I thought that the plane was being destroyed. But the plane is not being destroyed. I know 3-phase power well, and the 3 orbs seem to perform a perfect synchronous motion, forming 120-degree out-of-phase sine cosine waves that OP neatly graphed out. That was from where I pulled the graphs from. I may do some wild speculation. The wormhole generator may require this specific motion from these craft, where they act as the poles of a hypothetical motor or generator, generating an electromagnetic field between them. That's exactly what Bob Grenier said. I'm going to even play the Bob Grenier thing after this for you guys, just so you guys get your minds blown. Another thing to notice is the rotation of the orbs is clockwise if you're looking at the plane from front on. This is interesting because an electromagnetic field generated by the generator is a vector quantity, and it's generated in a direction perpendicular, right-hand rule, perpendicular to the plane of rotation as given by the right-hand rule. If we use this rule on rotation of the orbs around the plane, the direction of the resulting EMF would be backwards towards the tail of the plane. This is interesting to me because we saw a little while ago that the wormhole opens up behind the plane and is pulled backwards into it. This would make sense if whatever phenomena these orbs used to create this wormhole had a basis in electromagnetism. What? Are you kidding me, chat? I mean, there's no such thing as videos that are this scientifically accurate that are hoax videos, especially not from 2 military assets. Like, we got the best videos in the history of the world. Best videos. You know what? I'm going to play them real quick, and then we'll look at some other stuff. I'm going to play the videos. I'm going to go through this other quick paper. It's only 3 pages long, and then we're going to look at the Bob Grenier thing as well after that. So technically, the first quality is side by side, but I'm playing this satellite video because it's just higher quality. It's better. It's easier to see the details in this, but this is not the original one. This is just a very one that came out a couple months later. And also the fact that there's a higher quality video that was released after Regicide Anon says that Regicide Anon is not the leaker. That combined with the fact that what was I going to say? That the telemetry data wasn't known and that they only had 4 days. If Regicide Anon is not the leaker, makes this 100% real. Okay. And yeah, oh yeah, I forgot the plasma thing. So that clip with well, here we go. Poof. Right there. So we see our right-hand rule. We can tell that they're spinning around the plane, and they change their orientation right here. Now you can see they're spinning clockwise around the plane right here. If you're looking at it from the front, you can tell they're spinning clockwise. That always bugged me, but now it makes perfect sense on why they're doing that. Now you can see them spinning clockwise if you're looking at it from the front. It's wild. Yeah, look, it's clockwise. Huh. Wild. And so then the Jack Sarfati message. Jack Sarfati thing, I'll play that in between, and then I'll post the other one.
That's the mass energy, right? But if C squared gets small, that thing goes down. See, it goes down. But like as the, you know.
So he's pointing out that C squared in this equation for how much negative energy you need, C squared is a huge number, but if C squared lowers, then that means the amount of energy you need goes down a lot.
Here the total mass you need is at C squared, but if C squared becomes, if it goes from 10 to the 8 meters a second to 1 meter per second, then you're down by a factor of 10 to the 16, right? In this particular calculation. But he doesn't say that. See, they don't say that change C. That's what they're missing.
Crap. Sorry, guys, I was muted. Okay, so when you watch the letter to Ashton Forbes, this is why Jack basically says that we don't need a lot of energy to warp an object because we can reduce C here, which reduces the negative energy requirement. And that's what the letter to Ashton Forbes says, that this is a low energy phase transition.
But this is fine.
Yeah, I think you can achieve that using a stable plasmoid or vortical.
Well, I hope you're right.
Yeah, I think you can achieve that using a stable plasmoid or vortical.
Stable plasmoid can lower C. That's what he just says. And Jack goes, yeah, you're right.
Well, I hope you're right. So do me a favor and write it all up and send it to me. I hope you're right. I'm not saying you can't. Okay, look, that's
a stable plasmoid can theoretically do this, chat. What are we looking at in the MH370 videos? Well, let's go. We're looking at a stable plasmoid. Is that also a coincidence that we just happen to have stable plasmoids on demand here when that's what we need to lower C and potentially have enough energy to create a wormhole? There's a lot of coincidences adding up, guys. That's why these videos are just real. I mean, there's no other explanation. As hard as it is to believe, there's no other explanation. Guys, the Redditors in the chat, chill out, man. Why are you guys so aggro? Yeah, you're not creating a 3D render environment tech before 2014 in like 4 days. So not a full story. We weren't even searching in the right place then. This is your I mean, there is your plasmoid. You're staring at it. The heat signatures as well weren't even known. And the heat signatures seem to be consistent with a magnetic monopole or a topological monopole as well, which is something that even now people don't even agree necessarily that it's been predicted to exist, but people had not seen it before then. Yeah, so Big Pooh says the plasmoid would create a resonant cavity that could bunch up or clump up in that case. And the plasma sheaths are exactly what they use in hypersonic weapons for this exact purpose, so that the object doesn't get ripped to shreds from the atmosphere or the friction in the sky. So is that just a coincidence as well that hypersonic weapons literally use a plasma sheath and we're looking at a plasma field around a smaller object here? No way, man. And nobody knows what America's hypersonic weapons look like? Nobody has any idea what they look like? Jack is Jack Sarfati. He is a pretty well-known physicist that worked with the CIA. Believes he got a call from future humans that told him that he would figure out how anti-gravity worked. And if he sticks with me, he probably will find out. Maybe he'll even win a Nobel Prize. Oh, and he hates dogs too. I don't know why. Yeah, I would even argue, I would go so far as to say, if this video came out in 2024 that it wouldn't mean nearly as much as it means now, or in terms of like knowing it came out in 2014. The fact that it came out in 2014 is huge because it predates all commercial AI and commercial deepfake. Like that means really the only people that could have faked this is the government. So, okay, we showed those. Let's go and take a look at this other scientific paper that we found. Crazy, huh? So if you're new to this, go back. Yeah, I did a podcast with Jack, but it wasn't that great. I mean, it was rough, man. He drops an N-bomb in there. He lets his politics fly. I'll show you guys a screenshot. This is so I'm back on the email chains with Jack Sarfati again. He unbanned me, thank God. I mean, actually, I don't really care, but so I sent him in this email group a message. I replied back to one of his emails. I'm in the oh my God, come on. I'm in the email. Jesus, man. I hate this thing that like locks every window I do tries to lock it to my screen. Okay. Oh, and also let me see the donations real quick. How do somebody else donated, but I can't see the super chats. Wang, thank you very much. Appreciate you. Wow, I don't have the super chats thing on my, I don't know. Sorry if you donated and I didn't see it. Okay, so here's the screenshot. Let me just make sure there's nothing. This is what Jack Sarfati replies back to me. This isn't the whole email. I'm not going to show the whole email, but look, I assume that means shit for brains. You make Biden look like Einstein. The observed UFOs are not breaking the Schwinger limit with high-powered lasers. I think they probably are. I've heard on social media that Eric Davis has at least partially wrote these, in addition to other fascinating paper, teleportation physics study, blah, blah, blah. And then Jack says, yes, Eric wrote it, and I give him a B. That's a great job to all those involved. I'm a believer and supporter of your work. It's good to be an American. So you guys can imagine who's on this email chain. Attaches all these memes to the email. Why is he attaching all these memes to the email? The Woking Dead. There it is. The dumbest fucking thing I've read all day. And then another one about Idiocracy. Idiocracy was just supposed to be a movie, not a documentary. He's like got angry man syndrome. He comes at me, makes a Biden joke. That was rude. I make Biden look like Einstein, and then he memes on me with like 3 memes. Guys, there's like accomplished physicists in this email chain. There's like real serious physicists in that email, and he's just posting that in. Jack has no filter. I love it. I love Jack Sarfati. I got that back. I was just cracking up, man. I was cracking up. Yeah, F Reddit. Okay, so somebody sent another paper as well that I'm going to pull up right now. And this one's only 3 minutes long. It's pretty good. Yeah, serial number plates should also not fall off. The missing serial plate is super sketchy. I don't know. The good news is my story doesn't require the debris to be fake, so I don't really care. I'll leave that to the other people. I'll leave that to the other people to figure out. People that need the debris to be fake. Which is like literally every other story out there. Or the worst is the South Indian Ocean narrative like picks and chooses. Like, oh, this piece of debris is real, but all the other debris isn't real. Okay, let's see. Yeah, people are just often wrong. It shouldn't be, no one should feel bad about being wrong unless you're one of these people who's been like dedicated your whole life to trying to debunk these videos. In that case, you should feel bad. You definitely should feel bad, and you should reevaluate your life decisions because your life sounds pretty sad. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is only 3 pages. I'm probably not going to be able to understand the equations just yet. But on my list is to try to understand all the electromagnetic equations and memorize them. I'm more theoretical than mathematical on this stuff. Oh, for the benefit of the dumb trolls, NORAD tracks everything above the atmosphere. So, yeah, the idea that a plane just disappeared is frankly absurd. There's no chance. No chance, guys. Yeah, the serial plates are riveted on as well, somebody mentioned. It's actually crazy. If you guys just Google the MH370 serial plate thing, like I'll just do it in front of you guys. Look at this. Oh, there you can already see that one of the articles there. Missing ID plate delays confirmation of MH370. Like you can just literally click on the top link here, and there's only like a couple links that even talk about this. Like mainstream media just doesn't even mention that the unique serial plate that's riveted on is just mysteriously missing from the flapper on the one piece that they're like saying that this proves the plane crashed. I mean, I think this can be from MH370, but this is weird. A critical identification plate in the flapper washed on shore of the Reunion Island. You can just look at it. You can see there's bolts on it. Like this had to be bolted on. Okay, whatever. You guys got me. You guys get it. We don't need to harp on this. Man, some of the Redditors are melting down in the chat right now. Yeah, I think they're starting to get scared. A lot of the Redditors are starting to get scared because the evidence is starting to become overwhelming. It's getting hard to deny at this point. Can I zoom this in more? Are we stuck with this crap on the left, or guys, is there a way to get this thing on the left to go away? Whatever. Okay, I think you guys can see it. I'm just going to read it. Subject, scalar waves. Reference, verbal request for summary statement on scalar waves. I'm already excited, chat. Oh, also, Jake, scalar physics. That's something we got to bring back as well. We're bringing back the ether. We're bringing back scalar physics. Apparently, scalar physics is like kind of a no-no term. But I don't know. It's a great... I like it. So much of science is just making up fancy sounding words to like explain your physics theories. We're getting rid of dark energy. We're getting rid of dark matter as well. We're just getting rid of all the crap words. We're getting rid of quantum fluctuations in the vacuum. We're getting rid of virtual particles, and we're just bringing back ether and scalar physics. We're just going to solve all our problems. Okay, so for reference, the writer will provide a summary below of his understanding of the nature of scalar waves. These are unconventional waves that are not necessarily a contradiction to Maxwell's equations, as some have suggested, but might represent an extension to Maxwell understanding at the time. If realizable, the scalar wave could represent a new form of wave propagation that could penetrate seawater, resulting in a new method of submarine communications and possibly a new form of technology for ASW. I don't know what ASW stands for. Thus, the potential applications are of high interest to the United States research and development community and the intelligence community, particularly if some promise is shown to the realizability. This is a CIA confidential document that was approved for release in 2001. So it probably comes from the 90s. There's a community in the US that believes that scalar waves are realizable. In a recent conference sponsored by the IEEE, something electrical engineers or something, these were openly discussed and proceedings on the conference exist. The conference was dedicated to Nikola Tesla and his work, and the papers presented claimed some of Tesla's work used scalar wave concepts. There's an implied Tesla connection in all of this. Why is this all blacked out? Why is this all blacked out? What is in this black spot? I would basically kill to find out what's in this black stuff that they felt like if they're saying all of this, but they have to black something out, what the hell are they blacking out? Does this talk about the Philadelphia experiment or something? Like what is this talking about? Emily is on fire. E is the noise Redditors make when someone proves them wrong. It's scalar, not scalar. You got me. Scalar. The scalar wave, as the writer understands, is not an electromagnetic wave. An electromagnetic wave has both an electric field and a magnetic field, and the power flow in the EM waves is meant by the realization of the pointing vector. Right-hand rule, pointing vector. As follows. Scalar wave equals E wave times B wave. I think that's what that means. The energy per second crossing a unit of area whose normal is oriented in the direction of S is the energy flow in the EM wave. That's the right-hand rule, I believe. A scalar wave has no time-varying B field. In some cases, it also has no E field. So what they're saying here is if you remove the B field or the E field, the magnetic field or the electric field, the potentials, and remember, we talked to Tom Montauk about this, then we can produce a scalar potential, the stress in the medium. And what is the stress in the medium? Gravity. Thus, yeah, so a scalar wave has no time-varying B field, has no energy propagated in the electromagnetic waveform. It must be recognized, however, that any vector could be added that could integrate to the zero over a closed surface, and the Poynting theorem still applies. Thus, there is some ambiguity in even stating the same thing before. Is the total EM energy flow. The scalar wave could be accompanied by a vector potential, A and E, and yet remain zero in the far field. So here they're talking about we can actually shoot a scalar potential. We can actually direct it somewhere. Theoretically, at least according to this. And that's exactly what Thomas Bearden would argue. Damn, chat, you guys are on fire right now. Yo, guys, get those debunkers, guys. Yes, this ties into monopole stuff, directly focused scalar waves. Bearden talked about parsing the waves around this. Damn, I might have to. Yeah, you guys are. Chat is going nuts right now. From the EM theory, we can write the following. So now here's some equations. B field equals delta times A. So I think that this is normally where they zero it out, but in the new equations, but back in Maxwell's equations is different. I need to ask. I actually almost want to do a follow-up with Tom Montauk on this. In this case, 0 is the scalar potential and A is the magnetic vector potential. Maxwell's equations then predict, and here's some stuff, scalar potential waves, vector potential waves. Here's a solution where they calculate. So generally it says mathematically S is the potential with a wave equation. One suggests the propagation of this wave even through E equals B equals 0, and the Poynting theorem indicates no EM power flow. So what they're saying here is that technically there shouldn't be a power flow. We would not detect something if we look at it from an electromagnetic perspective, but because we are propagating this wave through the ether, this wave is still there. It's not that 0 doesn't equal nothing in this case. Oh, and for the record, the funny part is the science is the stuff that I'm least confident in. Least confident out of everything. Like, you want to just talk to me about what happened to MH370? I would go for days talking about what happened to MH370. The science is the part where, like, I am trying to catch up desperately to understand the science. So if I'm doing well, I appreciate it because I'm trying hard. Okay, where are we at? Right here. From paragraph 4 above, there's a suggestion of a solution to Maxwell's equations involving a scalar wave with potential S that can propagate without Poynting vector EM power flow. But the question arises as to where the energy is drawn from to sustain such a flow of energy. Because the question is, where's that energy coming from? A vector that integrates to 0 over a closed surface might be added in the theory, as suggested in part 3 above. Another is the possibility of drawing energy from the vacuum, assuming net energy could be drawn from free space. They're talking about drawing energy from the ether. Quantum mechanics allows random energy in free space, but conventional EM theory has not allowed this to date. Random energy in free space that is built of force fields that sum to 0 is a possible approach. So that's what we just talked about, summing your field to 0. So you create a 0 magnetic vector potential or electric potential. If so, these might be a possible source of energy to drive the S waves drawn from free space. A number of engineer scientists in the community suggested in paragraph 2 are now claiming this. A chief proponent of this is Lieutenant Colonel Tom Bearden, who also lectured at the IEEE Tesla Symposium. He is known for his fer de lance briefing on Soviet scalar weapons. We watched that. Yeah, Aharonov-Bohm effect as well, guys. All of these theories, like, there's a reason why they were out there, because science is the study of observable reality, and these people were studying observable reality. So in summary, scalar waves refer to non-electromagnetic waves with the potential for unconventional wave propagation. They appear to have some properties of soliton waves. They may not attenuate like EM waves do. Their existence is not proven, but if they exist, their energy source is not clear. They have quantum mechanical flavors about them. If such scalar waves exist, then they will be transformed via collective phenomenon from microscopic waves to macroscopic waves. They're talking about wave mixed scalar interferometry there. As in the case of Joseph junction theory, Cooper pair electron effects. All of a sudden, they start talking about superconductivity right here. Cooper pairs are superconductivity. When superconductivity happens, the electrons form Cooper pairs. So there's a direct relationship to superconductivity right here. That's wild. What? There's a relationship between scalar waves and superconductivity. They will also behave like longitudinal waves in a plasma. What? They will also behave like longitudinal waves in a plasma and grow via propagation on a non-optical branch of the WK space. They will result from collective phenomenon and, as in plasma waves, grow via energy supplied by the medium, free space, seawater, etc. Should they exist, new vistas in wave propagation and long-distance ranging and detection will result. Do you know what long-distance ranging and detection is? Radar. Radar. This all goes back to radar, superconductivity, and semiconductors, and plasma physics. If you want to be an expert at science, those are the three things you need to understand. Radar, plasma physics, and whatever the last one was. Superconductors, semiconductors and superconductors. Guys, 100% the Freescale semiconductor engineers were the motive aboard MH370. Those guys were the motive, no doubt in my mind whatsoever. Semiconductors are the secret to all of this. I couldn't even have imagined it. Tiny semiconductors. Like the smaller, the better. That's what allows magic to happen. The Lockheed Martin coherent matter wave beam patent, that is a transducer. Like, we have the answers. Somebody says radar is what brought down the flying saucers. Wouldn't surprise me at all. If they use this type of science to fly, then this is exactly how you would bring them down. It's crazy. So I'm going to play the Bob Greenier thing again. And before I do that, I'm going to make the announcement. Tomorrow at, what time did I tell him? Hold on, I got to double check. I want to make sure I tell you the right time. I'm gonna do a post on it though for you guys, so you don't have to remember this. 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, I'm going to be talking to Dave Rossi one more time. I'm going to talk to Dave Rossi tomorrow. He is a DoD contractor and engineer who has gone on the record with me on Tim Pool and said that he believes what we see in the videos is real. He works in private labs, and he also came up with the theory of the fourth orb as well, based on stuff that he's seen in the labs. So tomorrow, I will talk with Dave Rossi. We're going to, at 5 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to go for 2 hours, and we are going to review all these papers. We are going to review the warp drive, dark energy, and manipulation of extra dimensions. We're going to review traversable wormholes, stargates, and negative energy. We are going to review possibly the teleportation physics study as well, and anti-gravity for aerospace applications. We're going to look at all the DIA papers. We're not going to probably go through every single paragraph, but I'm going to highlight the parts that I want to talk to. And then I'm also going to pull up that thing that we just looked at there, or something equivalent related to Thomas Bearden. We'll talk about Thomas Bearden. Dave met Thomas Bearden. Hopefully it's okay that I say that. And we're going to understand the science together tomorrow. So tomorrow, 5 p.m., it's going to go down. Get hyped. If you want to understand the science, if you want to listen to a conversation similar to what I had with Tom Montauk, tomorrow, we are potentially going to be making history. If these videos are real, some of these interviews, like, people will look back at them the same way they looked back at, like, we're looking back at Thomas Bearden, like, 20 years from now. They'll go, these guys had figured it out and the world was blissfully unaware. They're going to look in the chat and they're going to see these people trying to debunk it. And they're going to be laughing at them, being like, these people were idiots that were like trying to deny that like the earth revolved around the sun. Or like the people that are the debunkers are going to be like considered like flat earther people are now, like just completely absurd. So let's play the clip.
I saw the Jeremy Reese interview and
Okay, so I'm playing this clip because I want to get some people caught up. If you've been around for a while, some of this is going to be repetitive for you. But this is Bob Grenier, low energy nuclear reactions. Low energy nuclear reactions, LENR, getting that into your vocabulary. That's equivalent to cold fusion. Cold fusion. Bob Grenier, this is before I met Bob Grenier. Now I talk to Bob Grenier almost every single day. He's an absolute genius when it comes to low energy nuclear reactions. Potentially, we've already found out how cold fusion works. The general public just doesn't know. This is the video he made about my case in the videos before I met him.
realized that this was a video from 2014, and with the context that I've just given you and what you see, and that knowing that this can cause things to disappear, and when they tend to do that disappearance, they go in a flash, I was compelled to do this. So for those that like to attack the project when they feel that we're going off subject, I'm sorry for you, but I believe that this is fully on subject, and I think that at some point we've got to address ways in which this technology has been used, because we need to wake up to its possibility. If it turns out to be fake, well, it's a pretty well-informed fake, is all I can say. And I didn't go back in time and force them to make this video with what we know now.
Oh, crap. Thank you. So Bob Grenier, first thing he says here is that he didn't go back in time and that these videos, like he felt compelled to make these videos because he's the one who's been studying plasmoids and exotic vacuum objects. So he needed to say that he didn't go back in time because there's nobody on Earth other than him who's been looking into this like he has. Like, this is not mainstream stuff that a bunch of people are studying. I mean, there are people studying it, but it's like a small knit group of people and they all know each other. So how does this random guy, like, he's like, how would some random hoaxer even know what these should look like? That's his first comment. I'm going to make it full screen.
This would kind of imply that these are warmer than the environment. And for that to happen, one might expect that if they didn't have their own energy source, they must be extracting the energy from the environment.
So right there, he just says extracting energy from the environment. That's what we just read in the CIA thing from 2001. That where are they getting their energy from? They're getting it from the ether. They're getting it from the quantum, the fluctuations or whatever the freaking physicists want to say, the virtual particles. No, they're just straight up extracting energy from the environment.
That the exotic vacuum objects will fire a thing, or it has some sort of projected field out in front of it that will cause other exotic vacuum objects to orbit around them. So there is something that goes out in front. I believe that this is the toroidal moment, the beam that goes out far faster in front of it, and that, along with the, let's say, the Ukon of Asara, this part of the fractal toroidal structure, this part here, this changes epsilon 0 of the physical vacuum, and it has like a beam that comes out in front of it, and that enables all of the funky magic that these things can do.
So epsilon 0, chat, is the vacuum permittivity of free space. So this is where you're starting to wonder, okay, if you're changing the vacuum permittivity of free space, are you just straight up extracting dark energy from the ether at that point? You know, like it's a matter of semantics, I believe.
Often we are seeing, and maybe, I don't know if I can zoom in, I can't zoom in. We are seeing the non-radiating boundary, And you can go and look at this video itself. But inside that, there is a much smaller thing, and it does tend to be offset.
So right there, and I think he and I would maybe disagree a little bit on this, is that you're seeing a field. You're seeing an exotic vacuum object, a field, a plasma field around the other object. And I had realized this without knowing anything about low-energy nuclear reactions, just from watching the videos as a normie person back in September of last year.
It does tend to be offset. And that would be consistent with the toroidal structure in the center and the kind of mushroom that it creates with the material as it goes around orbiting the fractal toroidal structure in the center of the exotic vacuum object. Look, here we go. We have our non-radiating boundary, okay? And we have this little tuft of thing at the top, right? Now, I'm going to go back to the monopole in this presentation. And we have shown that our work is actually more accurate than this. So if you can imagine this here, this is where the torus is kind of focusing its moment to lead to the monopole location, the topological monopole here. This is a dome that you get. So here, this is this top. So that the monopole is actually at the base of this bit here. Okay, and this is the glowy bit that you see as material is pushed through, but then it hits the top of the non-radiating boundary and is fed back into the coherent structure. Okay, here this is very, very clear. This is almost exactly looking like the Aalto University peer-reviewed published structure.
So the Aalto University paper he's talking about came out in late 2014, 2015, after these videos were already published. There wasn't even the topological monopole science in the public literature when these videos came out. So another question for the debunkers is, who came up with this heat signature? The debunkers have no story whatsoever that makes any sense. And what they want to do is hand wave everything. We've got 100 smoking guns that these videos are real. Maybe not 100, but at least 25 different smoking guns that are basically impossible for these videos to be fake. And the debunkers have, their argument is, well, somebody found a cloud picture that has clouds in there, even though it's easier to make a 3D video that has 3D rendered environment into a 2D cloud picture than it is to do the opposite. They just have rank speculation that falls apart on even cursory scrutiny. We have hard evidence, hard facts.
So the monopole would be at this point. The toroidal moment would be going out this way, and you can see the dark area in front, so it's cohering energy from here. Okay, so this is traveling in this direction, and it's cohering energy from in front of it, and that comes into what I call the Borg. Yeah, it becomes part of the collective. There, this is very, very clear. Okay, so the monopole's location is here. This is the non-radiating boundary. Okay, this is the phase inversion. The dark area above will be where it's cohering energy. And you will have the disruption beam coming in to the monopole at the bottom here. So when I saw this video, it was like, well, to fake this one back in 2014 showed incredible understanding of technology that no one had an understanding outside of the black world.
So first thing he says right there is that the one on the right, the satellite video, no one could even know what spy satellite surveillance would look like or how we would even render spy satellite surveillance. We were able to deduce that just from the videos because debunkers kept coming up with reasons why they didn't think it could be real. And it ended up just proving that's because it literally uses Google Earth and a quick terrain modeler to produce a virtual playback of anywhere on the planet using the Sibber system and potentially other satellites as well. We don't even really know the exact how much of their mechanism is because we're just using only open source, no secret sources or anything behind the scenes. This is all publicly available information. And then the second video, he's about to say there's nobody on Earth who could have known what these orbs should look like at the time because he didn't even know, and he was one of the people on the cutting edge.
Even if there was anyone that had an understanding in the black world. To fake this one and have the thermal imaging correctly representing and the non-radiating boundary and everything is beyond imagining. Here, if that doesn't tell you you've got your Ukon of Asara there, I don't know what will, right? It looks like this. Okay, that is the bit that changes epsilon 0. Okay, the permittivity of the vacuum. Okay.
And so, basically he's throwing out the science here. Now, one thing I want to point out is this. I actually use this in my arguments all the time. Have you seen in the movie Enemy of the State? Yes, in Enemy of the State, all the satellites look straight down. Before this video, most people that look at the satellite video think we're looking up. That's how little understanding people have of our satellite capabilities now in 2024. Enemy of the State is a 30-year-old movie from the 90s. And in that movie, the satellites look straight down, and everyone thought we'd look down through the satellites. But if you think about it, 30 years later, of course we use ground-based computer systems and render a 3D video playback. That's much better than looking down through a satellite. It makes way more sense. And then the follow-up on this is, do you know that the Hollywood inspires the military? No, it's exact opposite. The military inspires Hollywood. The reason why so many movies talk about wormholes and stuff like this is because the science gets out. Real people know it's real, and they've done the science, and they tell movie producers, this is what it should look like. This is why we have the movie Interstellar, where it explains time dilation. This is why we have situations like Tenet, where they talk about the flow of time and going backwards, because real physicists are explaining to people, explaining to Christopher Nolan, this is how it should work in real life, how it really works.
And it's pulling it in here. It's correctly facing forward as it is at the moment. And so what you would want to do is you would want to bring these in, get them into their alignment, get them tracking the device accurately, get them equidistant, and then what you would do is you would rotate their orientation so their toroidal moments link up and make a super tor that would then have its azimuth going through the center of the craft that you are wanting to either disappear or teleport. If you reduce the...
So he's pretty much explaining right there that the right-hand rule, I think. I kind of was criticizing him because I didn't think he explained it, but there, when he talks about, he's kind of saying the vector is going to go through the aircraft based on them lining up and creating a field around them. When he says tor -1, he's saying that they have a toroid within them, which is creating the plasma field, but they're going to create a toroid around the plane itself as well. They're going to create a tor -1 around the plane because he's thinking higher level. Also, check out the Glenn Beck interview. That was really great.
Overall diameter of the tor -1, the field strength in both in the tor -1 and through the azimuth goes up exponentially. And this is already experimentally proven. If we generally get accepted that this is technologically possible, we have the most incredible future ahead of us. Just the most incredible future. At this point, they seem to be tumbling the...
That's my favorite quote from Bob Greenyer, by the way, is that if we can accept that this is real, we have the most incredible future. Bob Greenyer is a forward-thinking guy, like my buddy Jake in the chat. They see the implications of this technology and what it means for humanity. This is the greatest discovery in the history of the world. This is why these videos are the most important videos in the history of the world. Not just for the conspiracy angle, but because free energy is real and being suppressed from us. Free energy. Guys, just wrap. This was the actual plot of this Fallout movie that just came out. Because that's how big of a thing this is. Free energy, or TV show, not movie, sorry.
The monopoles. So it's not going forward. It's starting to rotate itself. And... okay, do they align? Do they start to get into alignment? Because what you want is the monopoles to have their own azimuth to produce a ring to create another tor above, and then you pull these in, and that creates the unification of the forces at phase singularity of the -1 tors. Look, okay, so they're pulling in at that point, right? That's exactly what you want. Right before. So they're rotating and pulling in. Okay? That is exactly what you would need to do, and boom. It disappears. And it goes in a flash.
So the pulling in part, I didn't even realize what he was talking about, the pulling in part. And then I realized he was talking about amplifying the energy. And then we found out about Coulomb's law. And that's literally what would happen if you have magnetic monopoles of the same charge converging. It's going to increase, the force is going to increase exponentially. So that is just absolutely unbelievable. that that is possible. And then we looked at the paper yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. 2 days ago. We looked at the paper 2 days ago and it explained the flash as well. The photons are hitting the mouth of the wormhole and they're reflecting back off of it. It's creating a flash when that happens. And it's not a, what do you call it? There's no event horizon. So you're not going to get ripped to shreds. There's not an event horizon on the mouth of the wormhole. But the photons that are hitting, like all the light that's hitting, even if it's like basically we would think of as almost pitch black, there's still photons hitting that. And they're just like bouncing off of it. And that's what the paper said as well. How crazy is that? Okay. Okay, I do want to show, I want to show a little bit of the Y files. Not much. Because they talked about free energy as well. But yeah, that clip is probably one of the best clips. When I die, I hope I get resurrected as an orb, and then I will find Mick West and just follow him around all day, hovering above him, about out of reach. Guys, don't cross Emily McKenzie. Jeez. We don't know if the plasma, I think there's something smaller within the plasma field, but we don't know for sure. I think Bob Greenyer, that's where he and I disagree. I think he thinks it's a self-sustaining plasma orb. And I think there's some mechanical object in the inside where we have like our coherent matter wave beam patent. But the coherent matter wave beam microchip is only 10 microns across. So this thing is like extremely tiny. Okay, wormhole, blah, blah, blah. 5 hours ago. Oh, okay. Yeah, this will work. Here we go. Let's make sure we don't have anything. Okay. Where are my clips? There's only 3 clips. Okay, first clip is just funny part. So this is about a guy that goes to Antarctica and they find a pyramid down there.
Doug wanted to know, but the 2 guys,
Men in Black.
right, they realized they just said too much. Doug left the warehouse, resumed his duties, and kept quiet. But after he left the service, he went public with the story. It turned out that not only is the pyramid real, the military knows exactly where it is. They also know what the pyramid is,
How?
because they're the ones operating it.
Yahtzee.
Yahtzee! Hecklefish just dropped a Yahtzee, guys. Who is saying that nobody says Yahtzee anymore? Wrong. 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 Y-Files just dropped a Yahtzee, chat. Yeah, we are back. Yahtzee is coming back, guys. Okay. Next part.
40s, he worked with transistors.
So, hello, guys. Microchips, transistors. There's definitely a connection here. Like, where did transistors even come from?
These little devices revolutionized electronics. He had no idea how Bell came up with the idea, but wow, did they change everything.
The aliens gave them the transistors.
Maybe.
Pretty wild. So, and I think that's the only part he says about transistors, but I've wondered about transistors for a while. We all of a sudden get this very powerful mechanism that is used in electrical engineering everywhere. So pretty spicy. And again, semiconductors are definitely the reason why we stole MH370. Semiconductors are huge. And superconductors are even huger.
Pyramids as power plants. Sounds like science fiction, but if made of the right materials, it could possibly work. I have an entire episode on how the Great Pyramid of Giza could have created energy. And there's scientific evidence that supports this theory.
Pyramid power, link below.
So if you like free energy, I think this is the part where it's hard not to fall down in this rabbit hole. But this idea that the pyramids might have been a power plant, and maybe I missed it, but let me see. No, okay, I think here we go.
Marty Johnson was very specific about the site and the technology. He said the pyramid was
Is
He said the pyramid is 550 feet tall, with the base 700 feet below the surface. The angles of the pyramid were 48 degrees, not 45. I don't know why this is important, but Marty said it was. There were enclosed control rooms at each corner. The control room.
So basically, they're saying this pyramid seemed like a power generator. Have I reached out to Ryan Graves? Yeah, he ghosted me. I don't know. Ryan Graves doesn't have firsthand experience, as far as I've been told. He's just friends with people that have seen the orbs and the drones in the sky. Just for the record, guys. So you have to realize, for a lot of these people, if you don't see it for yourself, if you don't have verifiable evidence, it's gonna be hard for you to believe anything. But whatever.
Electricity out of the 0-point field and transmit.
Let me rewind a little bit.
This mini pyramid produced more than enough electricity to power their entire house and farm. It's been theorized that the pyramids in Alaska, Egypt, Indonesia, and other places formed an ancient energy grid. They pulled electricity out of the 0-point field and transmitted it around the planet, maybe even around the solar system.
Free energy cover-up link below.
Right. I have an entire episode about inventors who discovered ways to pull energy from the quantum field that exists everywhere.
And what happened to those inventors?
All died of mysterious causes.
Uh-huh.
So, is the Dark Pyramid an energy device? We don't know. We have to find it first. And some people think they have.
So there we go with that. Why isn't that not? Damn it! I had my thing ready to go. I need to have this just ready on a moment's notice to drop this. Free energy? Free energy chat. We're in the free energy chat. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to clip the Thomas Bearden part of the Y-Files where they show the free energy thing. I actually found the YouTube video for it where Thomas Bearden goes to the guy's place and shows the free energy machine. Pretty sweet. So, guys, I mean, free energy has been out there for a while, and everybody's just straight up ignoring it because these mainstream academic physicists are just really off the mark. Because everybody's just trying to build on what is socially acceptable instead of how many of these physicists are actually experimental. You find that a lot of people just call themselves theoretical physicists. If you are like somebody making YouTube videos, you're a theoretical physicist, like slightly more than I am. That's just conceptualizing things as opposed to actually engineering them and actually seeing them firsthand and doing experiments firsthand. Free energy is real, guys. And if I get disappeared, you'll know for sure that it's real because there'd be no reason to disappear me over a fake hoax video. Hopefully I won't get hit with that heart attack gun. Okay, the next thing I want to do. Okay. Actually, we're almost done here. We're pretty good. Okay, so the next video I want to play is the letter to Ashton Forbes. So I want to play this letter again because I want you guys to think about all the concepts that we have looked at here today. I want you to think about the fire scenario that we looked at because this letter, I'm fairly certain at this point, this letter was produced by the intelligence community. Either somebody on our side, somebody who's trying to throw us off, whoever wrote this letter to Ashton Forbes has inside information that we have not pushed out there. It's pretty wild. What is a white hat? Is a white hat a good guy? I hope white hat is good guy. I don't know what that means. There's a lot of stuff I don't know what it means out there, but I hope that there's good guys that are on our side. Oh, okay. We're the white hats? Okay, well, protect me, White Hat Chen. A letter. Oh, wait. There it is.
Submission sent to us the 8th of January of 2024. It's a letter to an Ashton Forbes telling a new story of what happened to Malaysian Airlines MH370 that disappeared back in 2014. And as always, don't trust what you read on the news. Trust your own capability to see the world for what it really is. Here we go.
I work or have worked at a military base in the Maldives, and I know exactly what happened to Malaysian Airlines MH370.
Okay, so they come in right away. This is a letter to me. Tells you to not listen to what you hear in the news. This person is claiming right off the bat that essentially they work in the Maldives. Got to be Diego Garcia, or they have worked there. And again, this is either intelligence community from the United States producing this, somebody who's a friend, or this is a situation where like a foreign intelligence community produced this, like Russia or China or somebody who's trying to screw over the United States by getting this information out. I really don't know, but I've never been copyright striked, and I played this video through like multiple times over. Nobody's ever come forward to say that they made this video. It's way too detailed. The AI is like an actual AI voice changer. It's not as simple as like having AI produce this. Like they wrote a script and they had an AI like change the voice on it.
This is also a letter to Ashton Forbes. You are not wrong, and what you do are much bigger than you even can imagine. Don't.
So right there, back when this letter came out, I was just on the whole like teleportation thing. But now we've realized it's all about free energy. That could be what they were saying. It's bigger than what we even imagine. It's about free energy. This is about everything.
Stop what you are doing. I won't tell anything about myself more than that I currently or in the past has spent time at a military base in the Maldives. That I have done this type of work since I joined the military when I was young, and that was many decades ago. Still in the game, but the years are starting to get to me. I write this because I want the world to know that most of the trouble on Earth are created for political reasons.
So he's already spitting facts. Most of the trouble in the world are created for political reasons.
United States, or at least a covert administrative elite of the U.S., has, at will, complete control, and this has been true since the 60s. Flight MH370 arrived at our base, by our hand, at 1856 UTC after we picked it up.
Now, this time, I don't know. This is very specific. This makes me wonder because it doesn't really fit with the Maldives time. This is one of the few things where it doesn't quite ring true. So I don't know if this was somebody who's making this up. Maybe they threw in some data in there to throw people off, or maybe they're just, maybe they don't have all the whole story. Maybe they only have part of it and they're telling it from their perspective.
Mid-air, outside the island of Great Nicobar. Just one of many, many things we do. We can pick up anything, anywhere, and deliver it in an instant, like a magic FedEx. Some facts about why it happened. MH370 had defectors on board. They were running to China with American technology. They are Chinese by blood and had gotten themselves into a situation with the Chinese regime who got them to choose to defect. The whole
So I wasn't even, I had known about all the facts related to that, but I was on the full-on rescue mission. Why would somebody who's making this, if you were my fan, you would write this like the United States was saving this plane from fire? Because that's what I've been promoting on all my podcasts before this. But no, they come out with the theory that I thought I hadn't pieced together, or like I knew it was possible, but I rarely talked about it. The espionage scenario. Why is this video promoting the espionage scenario in elaborate detail? Very weird.
play, everything, and I mean everything about it, was a political play to show the Chinese who's their daddy. That's us. Some facts about how it happened. All passengers are dead, all but the handful of deflectors. The plane did not crash. The plane was on fire, we know because we started it. The plane was picked up by us, on fire, mid-air, right in front of the Chinese.
So remember, we just proved earlier today this plane was on fire. The heat signature is not consistent with a plane that doesn't have hot smoke coming out of the bottom of the AC exhaust ports. We showed a thermal video earlier today. So this theory also goes ahead and says that the United States put the batteries on the plane to divert the plane, which is something that I don't think I ever promoted in any podcast. So if somebody faked this, they were coming up with original information that I'm the number one person disclosing these videos that isn't the exact same thing that I put out there. Yeah, defector is deflector is defector. This actually shows that the person who is talking has an accent and probably has an Asian accent, like East Asian accent. This person's probably like potentially Taiwanese, Chinese, Malaysian, Singaporean, somewhere in that area. which tells us quite a lot. This could be produced by the Chinese intelligence community, Taiwanese intelligence community. It could be someone that got the videos from Edward C. Lin. It could be somebody that knew him. It could even be Edward C. Lin, although I doubt it. So that's, just think about that.
The Chinese regime knows exactly what happened, and that was the whole point of the operation. Okay, this is what I want to share with you. As I said, I have been doing this for a long time. I know the technology and have been a part of hundreds of operations. So let's start with the tech. The foundation is not superconductivity. Superconductivity is a product of the technology.
So there is, wow. This is crazy because I did not say that. When this video came out, I was wondering if superconductivity was how this occurred. But as I've recently learned, superconductivity is a byproduct of this, of coherent matter wave beams. Just it induces superconductivity. So what he's saying here is very specific to how the technology works for somebody who would have to be in the know and know more than I knew at the time when this came out.
We have had this since the 1960s, and from that first day, we have used it to make sure that no one else can have it. The big breakthrough to apply the tech as we do today came in the beginning of the 2000s with quantum computers, and by this, the paradigm for AI technology. What we had to do programmatically before, we now can do with something akin to machine intuition. This lets us operate in fast-moving environments where event-based logic in linear programming was very limited.
Okay, so this is huge as well, because now, only now over the last week or two, have we realized that these papers that we were looking at here from the Defense Intelligence Agency are from 2010. So it is very possible that we only figured out warp technology in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. And this person actually just breaks it out and says, this warp technology is stuff that we figured out when we got quantum computers. And before that, we were limited. Guys, I'm going to correct you right now. You do not know that it's not voice changing technology. Deflector is not a misspelled word. No, it can just be because of an accent. If you guys use the voice technology for yourself, you'll find out that people with accents sometimes mess up the voice translators. It's not necessarily misspelled. No. And I'm not going to harp on it, guys, because like, if you weren't here when we first went through this, we've discussed everything you could imagine about the AI thing. You're not going to find anything new about the AI thing in terms of the voice and how this was produced. We dug into everything, every single thing that's out there. So just listen and absorb the information.
As I said, what you have found is not the technology itself. It's just one of many derivatives of the technology. I encourage you to keep on with what you are doing, but you should also be aware that there is a deeper layer that you could focus on instead of the Miami aliens that I see you have been posting about. I will give you some pointers for this at the end of this letter. The products or application you are now working on is correctly based on superconductivity. The number of orbs you've been speculating about is correct. The fourth orb decides where the object ends up. The technology.
It's very weird that they go along with the fourth orb thing. They make fun of me pretty much there for talking about Miami aliens, which is weird because this account made like 3 videos before this about the Miami aliens. Like it felt like they were trying to get my attention. But then they make fun of me for posting about the Miami aliens. When this video is published, the only other videos about it were fake stories from the Miami aliens thing. But now they're making fun of me for talking about it. And they're talking about Dave Rossi's fourth orb theory here. I actually asked Dave Rossi if he made this video because I asked Bob Greenier, I asked Dave Rossi. I'm like, somebody either who knows me made this, or this is like some weird intelligence community play from somebody who I don't really even understand their motivations.
Is based on structures, simple and beautiful structures.
And just for a record, Redditors 100% did not make this video. 0.0% chance. Redditors aren't even a fraction of smart enough to be able to make this video. Not even remotely smart enough. Making a RAR file scam is nothing compared to the detail and complexity required to make this AI video. And they made like 8 others as well. So there's no way, 0% chance this was made by a Redditor, because also if it was made by a Redditor, they literally would have come out and already pulled the curtain over my eyes and made fun of me. These people are trying to get me, and they would have been making fun of me. This video came out 5 months ago. So no, this is not a Redditor. Thanks for playing. Also, the Redditors tried to make another version of the video to try to show how easy it was to make one of these AI videos. You can go find it. It's by Nick Obar, and it's dog shit. I can't even listen to like 30 seconds of it. It's so bad because they literally just used an AI to like try to take my information and try to prove how an AI could do it. And it's obvious that this is not an AI. This is not an AI script. Obviously, it's an AI voice that we're listening to, but that's because it's a voice changer.
Structures that lets us use the unlimited power that is everywhere and step.
Yeah, so everybody I know, I've asked everybody. So if you say like Sal Paez or like Dave Rossi, Bob Greener, I asked all these people. I asked everyone if they made this video or if they knew anything about it, questioned them. Nobody knew anything about it.
Outside what I would like to describe as.
In fact, what I'm going to say real quick is that I asked Dave about this, and I had Dave listen to it, and he thought that I made it because it was so crazy. He's like, "You made that?" I'm like, "No, dude, some random person made this." And he's like, "Oh shit." He's like, "That's nuts, dude." Because it's like, he's a smart guy. I can realize like this is way too elaborate. Like this is somebody trying to send me a message.
Perceived reality. The structure that is used for what you are looking at is a metastructure that creates a low complexity and relative low energy phase transition. The beauty of this technology lies in its elegance and simplicity. The structures are inherently stable and self-regulating, and the
simple, inherently regulating and self-stabilizing. What does that sound like? Plasmoid. It's a plasmoid. It's exactly the same thing that Bob Greener was just talking about before, extracting energy from the environment. This guy brings it up right here.
Earlier challenges to conduct operations were 100% based on the limits of man. With the same technology, just a slightly altered monostructure gives us an infinite power generator that without maintenance can run forever. Combine structures to a meta-product again, and you have the propulsion for a transmedium object moving faster than light.
Okay, so he just basically mentions. So here's the thing, too, is it combines theories from multiple different people. Jack Sarfati's low energy phase transition that he talks about. Salvatore Paius's inertial mass reduction craft talks about that as well. And it's talking about EVOs, exotic vacuum objects. It's combining Bob Greener, Sal Paez, and I didn't even talk to Jack Sarfati when this letter came out. So why is it combining all these theories from all these people that I think now in retrospect, they're all true, and it can amplify energy to just make a weapon, was what it mentions here as well.
It's the definition of magic. There are endless applications, and the truth is that it would change the world in an instant. But that won't happen. I bet yourself, or at least most of your audience, have heard a version of the
Yeah, and free energy, and that will change the world in an instant. Like free energy, that's what this is all about.
Story that the aliens are here and they want to bless us with new, clean, and revolutionary technology, but we are a too young and rowdy civilization and would not be able to be responsible enough with the gifts from them. That's probably made up, but that is at the same time completely true. It's just not aliens saying this. It's us again. The technology is infinite in its power, and if two rivaling parties had access to it, this world wouldn't last a day. The same tech.
Okay. So he drops the bomb on us there. It's being hidden from us from our own good because we're going to destroy ourselves with this technology. It's not aliens, it's us again. So this also drops the bomb that the UFOs we're seeing out there are us. It's not aliens. Most of what we're seeing out there is our technology. It's us, it's China, it's Russia. They've got floaty orbs and drones that we are seeing as UFOs because the governments won't declassify this advanced technology that they have. It's us. We got to be careful.
With a combination of monostructures makes a terrifying weapon that turns any matter into dust, and that dust turns into air. It does not matter if the object is a small bird or an aircraft carrier. It cannot be stopped. It does not miss. And when the object has been hit, the phasing cannot be stopped. Okay, so back to MH370. We knew about the deflectors as soon as they made their decision. Well before that, but then they weren't deflectors. Anyway, we knew when, how, and why back in December, and as we do, we made it into politics. We let them go. We took them back and sent the Chinese a clear message of who is in control. And we did this with a brilliantly produced show that is fit for a Hollywood production. Any good movie has fire, desperation, regret, and drama. And every movie villain should see their plan fall apart. And in really good movies, just when the villain has accepted that the plan has failed, the heroes of the movie steps in and makes it worse. This is what happened. As soon as we knew what plane was the last leg of their journey, we planned and delivered, so the plane was loaded up with lithium-ion batteries, built by us for this occasion. Lithium-ion batteries cannot be put out, has a predictable burn rate, and we made sure that the volume was just right for a long burn that would allow for a full-length show.
So that right there is wild. To just come out and boldly claim that we put the lithium-ion batteries on there, we put just enough that it wouldn't destroy the plane, but it would force a diversion, and we knew lithium-ion batteries couldn't be put out by the Halon 1301 fire extinguishing devices. Whoa. That's the part I listen to that. I'm like, okay, it's the kind of thing where like you don't go there until somebody just straight up admits it. And then you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like that could work. That could be it. When you look at this plane and the mystery around the plane regarding without the videos, the lithium ion batteries in the cargo bay stick out like a sore thumb. They're not allowed in the cargo of passenger planes anymore because they're so dangerous. And this thing was loaded with them. I argued it's loaded with only 500 pounds, which is a lot. Mentor Pilot supposedly says there's 5,000 pounds of them on there. This thing is a ticking time bomb.
The Chinese were following the plane since it was on the tarmac and got to see their most close-to-success operation go up in flames. And just as all hope was lost, we made it worse. Right in front of their eyes, 2 hours and 13 minutes in, they saw the plane get phased out of there by the same technology they were trying to get access to. And 5 days later, the Chinese officially made a gesture of submissiveness by publishing a frame from the satellite of the phase moment via the State Administration for Science. The publishing was talked about in American newspapers as a possible debris field.
So that right there blew my mind because I think I'm the only person in the world that had reported that those satellite pictures were spycraft to the United States. And I had speculated that it was them telling the United States, we know you took MH370. This is a little bit of a twist on it. That China was, and I think I reported the hacking. I know I did. I reported that China hacked the Malaysian government the next day, stole the crisis media minute notes about the plane. You can go find my tweet from like October, November, maybe, where I brought this up. They stole the crisis media minute notes. They were trying to figure out what happened to the plane. They knew their plan had gotten destroyed to get these guys. The Freescale semiconductor scientists are the motive. Semiconductors are the secret to this technology. This is why we did it, and we wanted to just show them, stop messing with us. Stop trying to do this.
But when you know what you are looking at, it's clear what the frame shows. The aftermath.
I went back. I'm going to do a quick side quest on this, very quick. Actually, wait, no, I don't have it. Somewhere I have the Chinese satellite images, and people looked at the satellites they were from. I have a link somewhere. The problem is they were basing it on the wrong time. They were basing the images on the time in the morning, not when the satellite, not when this video or when the MH370 videos happened at 1840 UTC. We need to see where the Chinese satellites were at 1840 UTC on March 7th. I have a feeling we're going to find out they were right over the Nicobar Islands, able to take these shots.
During the 5 days after the show, the Chinese found out about the batteries, that we both made and placed them on the plane. They accepted that we have been playing with them the whole time and at the same time could accept that the people they had convinced to deflect did what they wanted. It was us that stopped them. The deflectors had a good corrective experience when it comes to staying loyal and were back on the job as usual, but with a new understanding both of their importance and the consequences of their actions. What was nothing more than another Friday at the office for the administrative elite, 200 people had the most confusing death experience you could imagine. 1,500 people lived a tragedy, losing family members in a mystery, and 10,000s spent months searching and millions speculating for years. Then in 2014, military footage of the event got published on YouTube. Not our problem. The person responsible for the leak was identified and taken care of. Not by us, not our problem. Then came you. Hi, Ashton. Impressive. This is what I want to leave you with. There was a guest on the Joe Rogan podcast that was talking about sacred geometry and some new technology his friends had discovered on some island somewhere. He did record another episode, but it never been published. Doesn't the wording sacred geometry remind you of something? If you choose to spend time on this, which I think you should instead of mall aliens, keep in mind that your case is one product of the technology. What happens on the other island, you will understand this if you pursue it, is another more rudimentary product. What if those in combination could lead you on the right path to the actual technology?
So basically, this person tells me that what I'm doing is impressive, which is like, okay, so you're on my side here. This is never something. Redditors don't even have the capability to say that. Redditors, they literally could never say Ashton impressive. Like, never could they possibly say that. Then it says that, follow Randall Carlson, sacred geometry. I'm imagining the sacred geometry has to do with either toroids or the 0-point fields that we see that are necessary for the pump waves to make this happen. I also think this could be Edward C. Lin or somebody that's trying to write the story from Edward C. Lin's perspective. We found out recently, someone told me, a source told me, and I don't know if this is credible or not, I just take it at face value, that the VP squadrons, the VPU-2 wizards, they potentially are deployed to Diego Garcia as one of their deployments. So he literally could have worked at Diego Garcia.
The gray-bearded man is the key, and he probably has no idea that he is. Finally, I want to say this. How do you defeat someone who can turn skyscrapers to dust, completely erase whole neighborhoods in an afternoon, and steal a burning Boeing 777 midair? Someone who, when needed, has the complete control of all media and crafts the perception of events and has most of humanity eating from its hands. After almost a full life in their service, I think I know the answer. You talk about them, and you don't stop talking.
Whoa. Well, you talk about them and you don't stop talking. How do you defeat somebody that has unlimited power? So now you guys know why every single week I say I'm not going to hurt myself and going to be very careful where I go. Because if these videos are real, you see the implications. That's the creepiest thing that would probably ever happen to me in my life. I hope I don't get anything creepier than that happen to me in my life, because that's enough. And you can imagine if you get a letter like that, especially in the middle of this case, like we can already make a movie that's going to be like a blockbuster just because of how wild this whole thing is. Even if these videos ended up not being real, I'd still say this is probably, if these are somehow a hoax, this is probably the greatest hoax in human history. Because they set it up with a real event where we never found a plane, where, they're going to go search again and probably find nothing again because there's no plane in the South Indian Ocean. Absolutely wild. Totally crazy. Yeah. Can you imagine sending a message like that with innocent people on board? Like, we're the baddies. If these videos are real, we're the baddies. This is why it can never come out. Obama is implicated in this. President Obama, this would have gone up to him. Like, this would go straight to the top of the United States. And maybe they'll say they're justified because we are preventing our adversaries from getting this technology. The CIA is 100% involved on this. 100%. It's a foreign action. The CIA would absolutely be involved. There's probably people in the CIA right now who absolutely want to strangle me for revealing this about them. It's just, man, it's that dark, guys. So, yeah, I hope I live a long life. I really do. But at the same time, I hope we just can admit what we did to this plane, because we got warp drive technology, everybody. Warp drive. So, to reiterate all my arguments, cold fusion is real. Free energy is real. Faster than light communication is real. EM drive, impulse drive is real. And warp drive is real. We can manipulate gravity. We can manipulate space-time itself. Check out this sweet-ass shirt. If you do want this shirt, and I get no profit from this, I found a link to this on Reddit like way, way back when I was early on this from, I think it was on Etsy by Arcana, A-R-C-A-N-A. I don't know if they're still out there, but I bought 3 of them. So if you want a shirt like this, that's where you can find them. I just thought it was good to support the case. You know, you go out there and I have people ask me, like, what is that? And you're like, well, that's Malaysian Airlines getting warped by some orbs. And people are like, wait, what? So yeah, pretty sweet, guys. Yeah, people are pretty salty out there. But no, this is not my merch. Maybe I'll have 4 Orbs merch one day, but not anytime soon for now. Okay, what other questions do you guys have either about the stuff we talked about today? Otherwise, once again, the announcement. Dave Rossi interview tomorrow. We're going to look through the DIA papers. I probably will turn it into a Hard Truths episode, but I don't have anything set up for that yet. I was really just planning on it being like kind of an informal discussion, but every discussion with Dave Rossi is awesome. So if it goes really well, like I expect it to, then we will turn it into a Hard Truths episode as well. Well, what are the questions that people have? Okay, so if so secretive, why would they put you? Wait, why would they? You put on how to follow the path and find out the information publicly. What's the motive of publicity now about? I'm not sure I really follow that. I think the bigger question is how did they keep this secret? Which video leaked first? The satellite video did. There's a lot of intention in the way the videos were leaked as well, which makes me wonder if the person who leaked them, like how much did they really know? Because they leaked the satellite video with the NROL 22 and the coordinates. That should have been enough. The reason why it wasn't enough is because people started searching in the South Indian Ocean. If the end point of the plane was the Nicobar Islands, and then you look at that video and you see it's got coordinates of the Nicobar Islands, people are going to figure it out. In fact, the videos might have been the reason why they changed the search area to the South Indian Ocean, why the United States had to send people on a wild goose chase. And then the second video drops in, in June, early June, a couple weeks later, the drone video. And the drone video is just absolute proof. The drone video is super high quality, shows us all the science right up front. Like the satellite video doesn't really explain all the science very well, especially because the zap is white, which is probably just a reverse thermal, so that white is like hotter or something like that. But we don't know. It's just a false rendered view. So it may just be for tracking and it's not even heat-based at all. But the drone video shows us everything. Like without the drone video, we wouldn't be able to figure this all out. So pretty wild. You can't get this shirt on Amazon. I think it's only on Etsy. And I think the people that have been hiding this definitely underestimated this community and this movement. I think they thought the lazy debunks that they do for other videos, they thought this would go away. They didn't think that I would be able to shoot down their lazy debunks left and right and that the community would rally around it because people are waking up. And that's what makes me a threat, is that I'm just a normal guy with a giant following now. We've gained, I was looking at the metrics, 16,000 followers in the last week. Just in the last like 3 days, I've gained like 10,000 followers from Glenn Beck, people waking up on Glenn Beck, people sharing the content, bigger influencers becoming less afraid to share the content out there. I mean, the influencers that are sharing my content have more followers than anyone in the UFO community has. Like we're leaving the UFO community in the dust. They're obsolete. The people that came from the UFO community that are following, they're getting raised up to the next level. We're starting to talk about the stuff that really matters, which is the technology. And you can follow the Glenn Beck thing. I posted a link at the Glenn Beck on audio. There is a YouTube link that I'll probably post as well, but I think it's only like half the interview. The part from like the videos onward, which was the second half. So I probably will post that as well. And it wasn't much of a debate. I've talked about this before in the past, but I would prefer, I think I want to do another debate, but who am I going to debate? Who is there to debate that has the knowledge of both the MH370 situation, the videos, and the science? There isn't anybody that's on my level on this. Because there's people that are individually, like there's people that could debate me on the science. Like I could talk to like Eric Weinstein or Sabine Hassenfelder or anybody else, right, on the science, and they would be way better than me on that, and I would bring someone with. But with respect to the videos, there's nobody on my level. Mick West would be what people would recommend, but he had 4 chances, and he wouldn't last like 5 minutes with me. There isn't anybody that would be able to last on the evidence with me. And then with MH370 in general, like, yeah, I could debate Larry Vance, and he's going to sit there and say, I know what happened because I looked at a flaperon, rips on a flaperon, and I was able to divine exactly what happened to the plane. And then they would just ignore everything I say about the fire, the witnesses. It just get embarrassing. So there just isn't anybody that has all the spectrum to debate, but I would like to. I think instead, probably it's going to be a matter of finding people who are skeptical, that are higher and higher profile, and then convincing them like I did with Glenn Beck, which is prove the lie, explain what really happened to the plane related to the fire event and then the warp drive and the videos, and then explain how that science works and how it's been suppressed and how it leads to free energy. And then bonus points, what it means for the world. And this is what I loved about when Jake went on with Tucker Carlson. When Jake went on with Tucker Carlson, he talks about the Salvatore Pais patents and how the patents specifically allow this corrupt elite to manipulate us and treat us like cattle. I know they know what happened to this plane. The elites, like even Elon Musk, almost certainly knows about this. He's been read in probably because he's got his contracts. He's a billionaire. He's had to sign NDAs where he can't talk about this stuff. That's why he wrote the weird, there's no aliens, blah, 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 or I haven't seen aliens. That's like a disclaimer. That statement he made was a disclaimer. He completely dodged everything around the videos. And I've got to be one of the fastest growing Twitter accounts out there. Like I've got to be in like the top 10 over the last 8 months, by volume at least. From going from a small account to 110,000 followers. So Elon Musk definitely knows. He knows something for sure. And yeah, we'll just keep going, I think, guys. Okay, so I'll do one more Discord invite, and I think we're going to close it up for tonight. I got to read some scientific papers. This is going to be the same invite, so only the first 25 people can get in on this one. We'll do more, tomorrow. I'll probably drop another one after the Dave Rossi interview. What is the role of Bose-Einstein condensate? Bose-Einstein condensate exhibits macroscopic phenomena or quantum phenomenon at the macroscopic level. So that's why Bose-Einstein condensate is so interesting. Is the whole idea is if something goes from a fermion to a boson, where now you can have more than one atom be in the same location at the same time. And you can imagine how this is similar to quantum phenomena that we see with like double slit experiment. Randall Carlson. Okay. Yeah. So Randall Carlson, the tech in the Maldives. Yes, that's Malcolm Bendel. That's Malcolm Bendel. So Malcolm Bendel, I'm also talked to pretty frequently now. Bob Grenier actually was hanging out with him when that video dropped. Hanging out with him. Made a video saying, hey, here we are in the Maldives when that video dropped. Pretty damn weird. I don't know about 9/11 stuff. I don't know if it was this technology was perfected before then. I would doubt that we had the ability to warp a plane during 9/11. It would not surprise me if we developed it afterwards as a defense mechanism for that happening again, but I don't know. For the record, I'm not going to be going into 9/11 stuff. That's never going to happen. No offense, but I'm not your guy. If you want to look into 9/11 stuff, there's about 1 million different people you should follow. I would recommend maybe taking a look at alien scientist stuff. I'm not going to be digging into that. But I am happy that, this science can help other people with their particular endeavors and stuff that they're trying to disclose. No problem. Ashton is packing a scalar weapon. That's funny. Survey flights over America. I don't know what that means. No idea what that means. Yeah, Gideon Tucker will be awesome. Yeah, so Jake gets it. There's competing compartmentalized factions in the government. And I have no NDA. That's huge. So I can say whatever the hell I want. This is the reason why I think a lot of these UFO celebrities get really quiet about certain stuff. Because once it broaches on national defense, that's where they have to quiet down. And this is definitely national defense. 100%. If these videos are real, we're looking at the most powerful, most secretive super weapons on the face of the earth. This is like figuring out that nukes existed in like 1943, like 2 years before we dropped the bomb. That's how huge this is. And I hope General Flynn is on my side, because if people want help getting this information out there, the people that are on the good guys' side, I'm happy to help out. People don't have to kill me and disappear me. Like, you can just give me a call on my phone and we can talk about this, because I don't really enjoy revealing my stuff about my own country. Doesn't bring me a lot of joy. But nobody wants to seem to speak up about these videos and tell the truth. So until somebody calls me and tells me, we're going to keep talking about them. I'm a nice guy too. Like, I don't need, you don't have to be afraid to talk to me. And yeah, liars can't debate the truth. That's a thing. Like, this is why, like, people like Jake and I, when we go on interviews, you can tell that we're being honest. I have nothing to hide at all. A lot of people, they're afraid about who they go on with because, they're going to get exposed and they have to remember what lies they told the last time. For me, it's like, I have nothing to fear because I'm just giving my unfiltered opinion, truthful opinions all the time. Jeff Johnson. Yeah, you can't put this genie back in the bottle. This is going for a while. Jeff Wise has full CNN brain. I don't think Jeff is a Fed. I think he's just too stupid to be a Fed. But he's smart enough to figure out that the debris has some issues with it. But for some reason, he's just adamant it's got to be Russia. It's not Russia. I don't think Russia doesn't have this technology. Russia would be acting way different if they were ahead of us on this technology. We're basically bitching Russia around right now. Yeah, debunkers missed obvious stuff like military satellite tracking. I mean, we have USA 229 that literally had to have seen this plane turn in the South Indian Ocean. It's sitting right there. If this plane turned in the South Indian Ocean, then this satellite would have caught it. And since we just filled up the invites, we just maxed out the invites, I'm going to do another new Discord invite. So if you stuck around this long or watching the replay, this one will last 24 hours. So if you want to join the Discord, feel free. Only rules, you have to not be a troll. Warp driven aware. So everybody always asks the same questions. I'm probably going to start backing off of exactly where the plane went because I don't think that's necessary. But everybody wants to know. This is our best bet based on everything we saw today. All the evidence we went through, the scientific evidence as well. This is our best bet on where the plane went. Somewhere to the west. Based on the direction of travel. The plane starts off over here where Kate T sees it, warped over here to the west somewhere over here. It could be anywhere along this line, but probably somewhere over here because these islanders, fire suppression device washes up on shore. Islanders see the plane. It's flying south towards Diego Garcia military base. Lock it up. If I had to bet my life on it, that's probably where I'd put my money. I'd say that this plane ended up in Diego Garcia military base. We tore it apart. We probably threw some of the pieces in the water, and then those pieces in the water washed up over to the west in the Maldives or into Africa. And that actually makes way more sense than a crash in the South Indian Ocean. AXJ, thank you very much, man. Appreciate you guys. AXJ has been around retweeting our stuff from the early days, early days. Which big thanks to the people that followed this early on. I definitely want to help you guys out. Just because I think that this can raise all, raising tide raises all ships. The people that have been following this and been kind of promoting and supporting, definitely want to give back to those people. I think they deserve it. And the people that have been hiding this and debunking and trying to prove it wrong, those people will also get what's coming to them as well. That's just how karma works. So, Nick Fuentes came back and gained 150,000 followers. Damn. So he's probably going to get more followers than me. Doesn't surprise me though, guys. Okay, guys. Well, I think that's going to be it. Oh yeah, Tim Ventura. I'm probably going to try to talk to Tim Ventura. The discussion I want to do with Tim Ventura is I want to talk to him about the Philadelphia experiment. I want to know how far back this goes. Tim Ventura is basically like me, but from the early 2000s, 20 years ago. He's been talking to these engineers. He talked to Thomas Bearden. He's talked to Al Bialik. He's talked to a lot of these guys. So he's got to have some insights. Now, he never saw videos like this. That's the difference. We are working with the answer sheet, the cheat sheet to the answers. So this is the benefit that we have. That's why we don't have to be physicists and scientists. We literally can see what happens. It's so much easier to work backwards from the answer than it is to work forward from speculation. Was Tesla correct over Einstein? Here's the other thing too. So I've got these flat earthers yelling at me now. Okay. First of all, I'm not a flat earther. Second of all, I don't care if you're a flat earther. That's fine. Science is not as simple as this person was right and this person was wrong. Jack Sarfati is probably right that we don't need essentially a huge amount of energy to produce a warp effect. But that doesn't mean that Salvatore Pais is wrong about being able to amplify energy. Both of those people can be true. It's not mutually exclusive. Same thing with Einstein and Tesla. Tesla can be right about the ether and longitudinal waves through the ether, and Einstein can be right about curvature. It's absurd to claim that we don't have curvature. Everything we see out there in the universe is circular. Everything. And if you want to say there's not a third dimension, therefore it's not a sphere, like why do you have two eyes? If everything was flat, you would only have one eye. The reason why we have two eyes is so we can see in 3D. Otherwise, so when I look at something that's circular at a distance, if I only have one eye, it's going to look flat. If I have two eyes, the only point of two eyes is so I can see depth. So I can see there's actually a sphere. That's curvature. Everything in the universe is based on curvature. You can't warp an object without curvature either. So if you want to call it something else, that's fine. But it gets silly when these people say like, oh, Tesla was right. And Tesla said that he didn't believe the universe needs curvature. Well, he's not speaking absolutely there. In a sense, he's speaking metaphorically, but he's speaking it from the terms of his understanding based on what he's seen. And he can be partially right and partially wrong. That's totally fine. Einstein's equations check out. It's just that they have some gaps in them that we need to fill. And Tesla's theories fill those gaps. That's how you should look at the problem. And that's how science really moves forward. It's not just saying that this person's right and this person's wrong. It's a matter of finding out the middle. Like, what is the story that makes sense, that weaves all this together? Navy underwater signals intelligence. Yeah, the SOSA system is called the Sound Surveillance System. I never actually looked up what the name of that was until recently. But that should have absolutely heard this plane. Yeah, LK99, we actually don't need metamaterials for this, but metamaterials are probably going to take it to the next level where it becomes... This is the thing, too, is that even when we get to warp drive technology, we still have so far to go. People look at warp drive just like caveman looks like in an iPhone. Caveman would look at an iPhone and think that like that's the pinnacle of technology. But no, we can take it even further. Metamaterials are going to allow us to take all these concepts even further. So it's going to get wild, guys. Like, we are living in an amazing time right now. Amazing time. And I want to thank Jake, my buddy. Like, I'm so happy to have met Jake. I knew Jake got railroaded on the J6 crap. I knew it in my heart. I knew it when I watched Tucker Carlson show the videos where this guy is getting escorted around. He gets vilified by people out there. I love defending people that the media vilifies, because when you learn and talk to somebody firsthand, it's so much harder to vilify them than it is to listen to what the media says about somebody and just like pretend like they're the worst human being on the planet. And it's funny because when you talk to Jake, he's the exact opposite of what the media portrays him to be. It's just, so personally, I love it. I have no problem. People want to try to hate on me for guilt by association because I'm proud to be his friend. Don't trust Flynn. Guys, I'm not going to tie my wagon to him, but my gut feeling on Flynn is that he also got railroaded and that he probably wants the information out there. So he's the former director of the Defense Intelligence Agency. These are the papers. These papers we're looking at are Defense Intelligence Agency papers that he would be familiar with. And he's sitting there talking about the ETs controlling the government. So he's an interesting dude at a minimum. Plus, he follows me for some reason. Is he following me to... He's not saying anything to me. He's not sharing my content. I don't know what, but... Yeah, and this is the part where Ariel was just retweeting some of my stuff. Big props to Ariel. Check out Ariel, by the way. I don't know how he knows all this stuff, but a lot of what Ariel says I agree with. I don't necessarily agree with 100% of what he says, but a lot of it. But he doesn't like General Flynn at all. I don't know. Let's see what else. Yeah, General Flynn does follow me. Guys, if you guys look at my followers, like there's some big ass names on my followers list. Like, you know, Joe Rogan follows me. Flynn follows me. A lot of the people in ufology do that are big. Like there's some pretty big people that are watching what I'm doing for sure. And I've been told by the behind the scenes as well that like people in the intelligence community are paying close attention to the stuff that I'm pushing out there, which I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen if you're disclosing some fake hoax UFO video. I don't think that's ever happened before in history. So pretty wild, man. Only when you're talking about free energy does that stuff happen. What was Emily saying? Woke extremist leftists are trying to trans the orbs. Crack me up. Michelle what other questions do we have? Yeah, there's a lot of recommendations out there, guys. This is going to be a long journey of trying to figure this stuff out. I'm trying to catch up as far as I can, man. Yeah, the Navy's system, 100%. The ocean surveillance system, the sound surveillance system what's it called? Yeah, sound surveillance system. Absolutely should have heard the plane crash. They actually pinpointed a tiny meteor crashing into the ocean. That's how Avi Loeb went and picked up those like sphericals at the bottom of the ocean. There's an article about that I posted on Twitter a while back. There's no doubt the sound surveillance system should have pinpointed this plane crash. It's crazy. Should you watch Ozark a second time? I don't know. I only watched Ozark once. It was good, but I don't know if I want to watch it again. A lot of people asked, did it move to a parallel timeline? This is the part where I would disagree with Ariel. It did not go to another dimension. I think that there can be parallel timelines, but this is a part where it's like, I don't know, guys. I'm not psychic. So best case scenario, based on the evidence that I showed you guys earlier, is this plane went somewhere else in our reality, potentially in the future to some degree, but we're not talking years in the future, like minutes or maybe at most hours. Okay. I think that's it, guys. Yes, thank you, AXJ. Appreciate you back, man. If Nick wanted to talk about the case, I don't know who Nick is. Are you talking about Nick Fuentes? Yeah, sure. Anybody with a big following, I'm going to talk to them. I don't care what their political orientation is or any of that stuff, guys. I'm going to talk to basically anyone. Yeah, the big question is, would Nick talk to me? A lot of these people realize that whether you're on the conservative side or the liberal side, a lot of people have a big aversion to this UFO stuff. They think it's all a big distraction. And they don't realize that there can be really advanced technology out there. You know, no matter which side you're on, this is a giant ontological shock to accept this. So, share this with Chris Bledsoe. No, I'm definitely not talking to Chris Bledsoe. No offense, but I'm not interested in people who are summoning orbs who have psychic powers. Those don't interest me whatsoever. You know, even if there is a connection to that, I'm not going to rule it out, but I'm not going there on that. Because I don't need to. And I honestly don't really believe it either. So it's already hard enough for me to believe that the conspiracy angle to this and then the science and the suppression angle to this, you know, both of these combined. Free energy is enough, guys. Like if I reveal free energy, I've revealed enough. Everybody else can figure out if we can mind control the orbs or if we can remote view or if aliens are here. I'll leave that to everybody else. I'm good with just having stamped my name, Ashton Forbes, on helped got free energy out to the world. You know? Okay. Let's see. I think that's it. Wow, guys. Chat is just... I can't even keep up with chat. You guys are on fire, dude. Yeah, it's a big equation with a lot of variables. And there's a lot of people out there that will tell you those answers that you guys are asking about the stuff that's like more on the esoteric side. For me, you know, I'm just trying to get out what I can get out there. Wow. Okay, I'm not close. I do think the Philadelphia experiment, though, I do think it's very likely this went back to the Philadelphia experiment. I think it wouldn't surprise me at all if that's the first time where we accidentally figured out how to manipulate space-time. And that what happened there wasn't necessarily teleportation, but the time in the bubble is acting differently than the time outside the bubble. So when they created the bubble, they sped up the time for the people inside. And then they show up instantaneously from the perspective of the outside observer. And then the people inside are getting sick and getting warped into the wall. And some of them are like, what just happened? You know, and that wouldn't surprise me if that's the first time we figured it out, 1943. And then since then, we've been trying to figure out how to make it work like without getting people stuck into the wall, you know? Yeah, my followers on YouTube also increased a lot. So if you've been following on YouTube, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I have seen the Greer interview on Sean Ryan. People ask me all the time about Greer. I think that Greer knew about the technology. Whether or not he knows, like the alien stuff, I don't know. I don't know if he's right or wrong. The technology, I think he's definitely right. And you'll find out that the technology, like he's talked to Thomas Bearden and some of these other people that we've also figured out. That's why I think he figured it out. Greer has not contacted me, but his people have. I've talked to some of his people in his ambassador program, and we definitely see eye to eye. But Greer has not contacted me, which is weird in my opinion, but doesn't really matter. I don't really want to tie myself to Greer. People will call me a grifter because they don't like what Greer does. I'm not going to tie myself to anybody from here on out. I am happy to have people help promote the content, but I'm not going to tie myself directly to anyone. I played that game once with Kim and we got burned, so we're not doing that ever again. That was a mistake. Learn and keep going from it. Okay, guys, I'm going to play you out. I'm tired. It's been a long night. Thank you, everybody who's watching, all the people on Twitter who are watching. I appreciate you guys. And you guys have a great night. Make sure you guys check out the interview tomorrow with Dave Rossi, 5 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to go over all 3 DIA papers. We'll take a look at the Thomas Bearden stuff as well. We're going to get Dave's opinion. I'm going to bring the videos up during the interview. We're going to go hard into the science with Dave on the orbs, on everything. There'll probably be some big disclosures in there as well. It's going to be sweet, guys. Have a great night. Thank you, Jake, for being here. Thank you, everybody else, for being here in the chat. Enjoy the song, guys. It's M370. Okay, so I suck at it. Here we go.
It's H370. Until you do some research, don't talk to me. I'm going to find the truth while I sip this martini. Your opinion, it means squat to me. It's H370. Not all heroes wear capes. I wear glasses to see. I'm going to find the truth while I sip this martini. The trolls hate seeing me succeed. But guess what? H370. Guess what? MH370. Not all heroes wear capes. I wear glasses to see. I'm going to find the truth while I sip this martini. Your opinion, it means what to me? Your opinion.